he got nothing to lose. He's a loser. You know, he hangs out with a couple other losers on the radio. There's like 3 losers or 4 losers out there in California. Standing by. I'm sure you got your 30 power supply. I'm liking it.
Double 1, double 2, wing nut. Ready DDO on the side.
We've already done that probably 40 times. I buy them off eBay. Well, this one actually is 25 amps, it's 30 feet, and 25 regulated millimeters. Oh yeah, I'm good at it. Back in the day, we had fun. That was some fun stuff. But yeah, these kids that get on now, these 30-year-olds out there, they don't even know how to do it. The unit 001, unit 001 Austria, unit 001 in Austria. We're trying 001 affordable. Any copy? Oh yeah, have your stainless steel whips and your K40 tilted back, put it in between the whips. Oh, not too bad. I think the wiper to go out to wrap it soon. I think we're gonna get ready for some routine get planned out. What are you going on today? Get a good. That to him once in a while gets boring, but yeah, there's a couple other ones I like playing with out here. They're wearing out their welcomes one by one. People know what they're like. I was down on 3.5. Yeah, we used to do that early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. That was kind of fun stuff. Yeah, I got a year in jail for that. It was called felony assault with great bodily injury. I won't do that again. Kill. Steady by. We're coming in. Same number. Salvation was fast. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty, man, that's going to be really fun. That's exciting.
West Side, what's up?
Get that tank still talking on that grounded bird. Take care of this. You're out there. 527 Riverside Kill. On the third. QSL. Yeah, a friend of mine sent me. He's on Face. Actually, I sent you a friend request. I just reactivated my Facebook. Rick Campbell, 629. The pickup truck. Brother Cal, we can see today, and then I'll play get out your leader today. We'll try. Yeah, I'm here at Gyro. I know you. 951. You up in the boat? 218, Toga. 01 portable. Yeah, the gentleman got here last night a little bit. Out here making noise. This has 11 meters per Shame on the bed. Come on, 527 up my Grand XL. And it goes up to
10-4. Yeah, I'm just listening to Skip, man, all morning. The conditions have been pretty good. Been listening to Europe earlier, and now it's kind of shifted over toward California and stuff like that. Pretty much what I'm doing.
Would be gas and Joe.
1122, wing nut on the side, ain't listening.
527, Southern Kill. Got the line. Yeah, when I get over there, I'll have it right over that C211, 29 Division.
Hey, 2-9 division, 2-9 division. This is a 2 Fox India 1122 on the side.
Yeah, 2 Fox India there. Good evening to you. 2 Fox India, USA there. Good evening to you. Signal 6 radio one ground plane. That'll handle all that one.
Hey, roger that in the 2-9 division. Yeah, good afternoon to you. The 1122 Wingnut Radio out here in northwest corner, Florida. Roger.
That'll be, you gotta watch out for them wing nuts. Yeah, I still an 80 meter dive radio with 127. November 527, Riverside, Cal. I hear you, Whiskey Charlie 1, morning time, 527 with the wave. Well, I guess I'll have to get busy and build me another antenna.
1122 Wingnut down here in the Panhandle, Florida, stretching that modulation out. Yeah, morning time. I think I heard somebody out there in 9 Division, Canada. Good afternoon.
Yeah, 2-9 Division Canada. Go ahead to breakaway receiver. 527 Riverside, Cal.
What is up, Snorgs and Sass? Sunfish? What's up in here?
Contact on 1. All right, that's getting the wind, buddy. 05. I heard you in there, 155, and a whole bunch of them came in there, but I'll just say good morning, 155, 527 Riverside.
I just got out of YouTube jail on this channel, so
You're here 56 in Alabama also. Good morning. CQ Canada, CQ Canada, CQ Canada. I'm just out here knocking the dust off these radios for a couple minutes, and I gotta get out to the beach. Heading to the beach. 527 Southern Cal, 60 miles east of Los Angeles.
hey, attention all you shoppers out there, the 1122 Wingnut Radio, fully operational and immensely activated right here on this frequency.
This was radio. A little bit of Europe in there earlier, but Wingnut nut.
That's right. That's my name. Don't wear it out.
On 38, Wingnut nut.
That's right. The 1122 Wingnut Radio.
Yeah. I just got the ground plane, man. You gotta go northwest. I think it was, I forget which way I pointed to get to Europe, but you gotta have that beam. Network. CQ. Yeah, let's see, northeast. World Radio 500 saying good afternoon. You're in the bottom there, Mike. 229 is the mobile. Yeah.
Holy crap, I hear number 3 out there.
Fuel consumption. Where did you go? 54.
Holy crap, I think I heard the number 3 repeater out there in my speaker. I think I heard the number 3 repeater in my speaker. Morning time, afternoon time, whatever the hell it is.
If you ever remember Mikey of the Monkeys, Mikey of the Beanie, that's his dad, Mike Nesbitt. They play right on the pier. They're Redondo locals. Well, Mike Nesbitt, he grew up and raised around Hollywood. He went to Fairfax High. That's where he went to school at Fairfax High. But yeah, it's right on the pier. It's called Starboard Attitude. You don't pay nothing to get in, and the liquor's cheap there, and it's a good place. Everybody has a good time. There's some rock and roll dancing. They usually have 2 bands, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. And the one I follow is in the evening. It's called Like Zeppelin. So I'll be checking those guys out. Probably eating a little seafood in the early afternoon. Watch a little band play, and then watch another band play in the evening. That sounds like fun. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Sunfish, man. I mean, damn, the skip has been rolling all day today so far. Since the sun lit up.
Sometimes me
I've been running all day today. I'm on channel 38, lower sideband, so it's still kind of crowded, but you never know, man. Conditions are pretty good, depending.
Both of those bars will have two different bands, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. And we bounce around, listen to music there, eat some good food, good seafood there, either kids or I usually eat kids. And Redondo, kids, if you ever want some good seafood, you can drive right there to kids. You can even park in the parking lot. You don't have to worry about paying parking or nothing or fighting parking. You park right there where the market is. As long as you're going in to eat fish, they don't charge you nothing, and it's a great spot. They got margaritas and mojitos on tap, and then they got some beer, and they got beer on tap, and they got all the seafood you can have, live crab, lobster, everything. Wow, that sounds like it'd be a pretty nice day out, huh? Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I have a good time every time I go down there. I love Redondo Beach. Yeah, there's nothing but old timers out there. I meet them all, and they told me about all the places they hang out there on Torrance Boulevard. And I just grab a hotel, and they already know me at the hotel. I stay right there on PCH and park the car, and then we take notes so we no drinking and driving, and we have a good time. There you go. Sounds like fun. You got it down pat, man. Yeah, that's right. Go blow off steam, man. Get away from the job and clear the mind and the ocean. Everything's beautiful right there. Yeah, you spent a lot of time down Belmar Shore and all that way back when I was in Southern California. Yeah, I got the granddaughters here today. They spent
The 1122 wing no radio on the side.
The daughter's house, and after that, I brought the girls home. Got up, made them pancakes, and they're in there on their laptops playing games right now, and so I thought I'd come in on the radio and talk. Roger, doesn't make it. I'm still waiting for some grandkids for myself. My kids, they haven't given me any grandkids yet. I said, are you waiting for me to walk with a cane? Roger. I got, let me see, 3, 6, 8 of them. That's nice. Yeah, 3 from the sun, and
Well, afternoon there, is
well, wait a minute. I got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 grandkids. 2 from the oldest son, and he's got 2 older boys that are in their 20s, and then my other son, he's got 3, 2 girls and a boy, and Tiffany over here. That's the 3 girls and a boy. 301. Joe. Man, you got to throw something this way. 301 Delta, and then I got a lot of work, I'll tell you. Anyway, okay, buddy, I'll let you go and get to it, and maybe get some DX before you got to go. It's in there from the East Coast. So I'll talk to you a little later. Take care. 73s. Check. Okay, yeah, Steve, take care. 73-527 on the side. Check your act.
Mark Kelly, look at you. Come on in. Look at you. Hello.
You guys all coming back at the same time, make it rough, but anyway, I'm going to say good morning to you. 527, Riverside Kelly.
I'm just trying to live it day by day there, so just trying to live it day by day. Can't really predict the future.
527, I'm on the side.
A lot of stuff happening, and I got a lot of stuff happening in my own personal bubble. And just one of them things, trying to live it day by day, trying to keep myself waking up, breathing every day so far. Conditions have been really good today for radio.
Roger, 651, I hear you on there too. I'm going to get back on the side. We got some other locals out there want to do some calls. But I did hear you on there, 651, 527 Riverside.
Thank you. You have a copy on 200. 200 in the Mojave Desert.
Check, 651. Yeah, I'm looking to hear my friend Kyle over there. He's out there somewhere in Florida. I forget the name of the town he's in there, but he's out there in Florida, just making sure he's okay over there with that hurricane that broke down over there on top of you guys. All right, 73527. I'm on this side.
1122 wingnut out here stretching that modulation out.
Reset your calibration on your digital readout. And got a noise blanket that's working. Got
World Radio 100 ready to roll your triangle response.
lower side, upper side, GWA.
Yeah, Mark. Well, yeah. I'm probably going to be around doing something. You know, I'm in and out. I had some running around to do earlier. I'll finish that up. I got some laundry going right now. I'm just waiting for that to finish up. Yes, Sunfish, I'm on 38. I'm on 38, 27, 385, lower side down, sir. There you go. Yeah, you can see all of it. There you go. I don't know. I totally did not hear it there, Napoleon.
74, 74, 19, we copy you. Yeah, this one's got a box sitting on there too.
1122 wingnut out here listening.
I'll be right back.
Holy crap on a cracker. I don't think this little tiny radio going to do anything. A 1122 wingnut stretching it.
478 Tampa Bay, 4430X, CWX, 478, you sounding good.
Hey, number 3 repeater, you out there? Number 3 repeater, you out there? Come on now. Yeah, that's weird how the damn skip works, man. Sometimes I'm gonna tell you, that's just weird. It's been pretty decent for my locations. Are you like in a hole somewhere or something like that? What's up? What's up? Are you in a hole or something like that? Sunfish?
I'm in my little studio now.
Are you in like some kind of hole or something like that, like in a dip in the ground or like kind of low elevation? Where you at?
No, we're up on a hill. That's
okay.
I'm picking up. I'm just using my little handheld.
Oh, okay. Well, you probably only got AM on that. I'm on lower sideband, but that's probably okay.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see here. Like AM. Let me see here. They're probably the. I don't know. I doubt you can get out that far with like probably 4 watts coming out of that radio.
Yeah.
You know, there are ways now. I don't know. Can you does that radio? Are you able to take the antenna off and like put other antennas on it? Are you able to do that, or is it fixed where it's okay? All right, cool. All right, see, that's one upgrade that you can do if you want to. If you want to put like a regular base station antenna, like at your house, stick it up there, run a coax, and run it straight down to that little walkie-talkie right there. that'll improve your whole reception and your transmission stuff. All right,
Dude,
and then
like,
on top, so there
it's
you go.
already set up.
Right on. There you go. That's what you plugging in that radio into?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
get a new station though for the top of it because that one's old as shit.
There's some little mobile radios out there that are actually pretty decent and not that expensive now too.
This is the Odin.
Yeah. Yeah, Uniden.
Yeah, it works good. I mean, at least I can still get weather and all that on there.
What kind of antenna is that you got up there on the house or whatever? Up on that pole? What do you got?
I don't know. It was here before when I was here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just moved here like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm still looking for property or something like that for myself now because I'm probably going to be forced to move out of here soon. I don't know.
Man,
Not sure how it's going to happen. My dad wants to sell the property that I'm sitting on. It's his property, but he wants to sell it. You know, it kind of stinks, man. Because I really don't have any. I mean, this right now is not the good time to look for property and try and buy property. It's not a good time.
it's the worst time to sell too.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's beneficial to me because if he can't sell it, I don't have anything to worry about. uh, but
Well, that's why we bought this place is because the other place we lived at, we was renting it, and the lady wanted to sell it.
yeah, I think people are just trying to cash in before they die. I think that's what's happening.
I don't know. I'm buying ammunition like left and right. I'm not going out without a fight. Yep, not going out without a fight. Do we lose everybody? No, we lost him. Just hold on a second, everybody. He will be right back. I'm surprised he hasn't dealt with any more issues with the internet, with all the stuff going on down there in Florida. There we go. I'm trying to plug in my fans. I'm down here in Central Texas, and we're still getting up in the late 80s.
All right. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Yeah, my phone blinked off. Everything shut down for a minute, so I had to reboot everything.
So how's the weather down your way?
It's actually been pretty clear through this whole thing, actually, man. Over here in the Panhandle where I'm at, how the rotation of the hurricane. what it ended up doing is just pulling more dry, cold air from north down to where we're at, while it
Yeah.
was trying to suck it down into the hurricane. So, we didn't really get any of the weather from the hurricane. We just got like kind of cold, dry air coming in.
Heck yeah.
And, it's actually been pretty decent at night. I personally, I'm a Floridian, man. It get below 60 degrees, I start shivering. So, I mean, it was all right, sitting out in the yard with a bonfire or a fire going, that's the type of weather, that's not too bad.
I mean, it feels like it's 90 degrees out right now.
Dude, it's not like that now, I can tell you that. It's actually kind of cool breeze right now. The sun is out, no clouds or anything. Because I've already gone out there with the mower, mowed the yard, and everything was dry, and then
Yeah, we're bluebird here too.
yeah.
Yeah, it actually got down in the 60s the other night.
Yeah. I don't mind that, because actually I kind of like it kind of cool, just to sleep, because otherwise I start sweating.
Oh
So I
yeah.
like it kind of cool anyway at night. So that's not too bad. But I'm not really fond of cold weather as it is. I don't
Well, that's
know.
why you live in Florida. That's why I live in
Well,
Texas. I don't like cold.
I've been in Florida most of my life. I mean, put it this way, that's where I grew up. And I went traveling around the whole U.S. and stuff, but I ended up gravitating back here after 9/11. And
Heck
so
yeah.
fuck it, I'd rather be back in my, territory I know. Um, I figured if the crap was gonna hit the fan, I'd rather be in territory I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger. Yeah. So yeah, like, um, let's see here. What was the? That's a Uniden radio. But is there like a number or whatever for like the name of it or something like that?
Oh, it's the Pro 501HH.
A 501HH. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious, man. I'll probably look up some more specs on that thing just to find out exactly what you're working with. But as far as I know, most of those radios are AM, and they probably only do about 4 watts. So to improve with what you got as a radio as it stands right now, uh, having that external antenna, like up on the on like a pole or something like you got. Are you sure that's a CB or 11 CB antenna?
It is.
Oh, okay. And then, like, the other way you can improve it is put an amp in line. That's the only other. Those are the two ways you can improve it with that particular radio. Um, and I think when the skip's running, channel 28 is usually hopping.
Okay.
28 AM. And like, for instance, I'm gonna wander over there real quick and see.
Well, I'm thinking about actually making a home station.
Right.
Let's just get like a Cobra handheld. I'm not a Cobra, but a Cobra home base, and I can run it through my stereo for my speakers.
Yeah. There's some easy ways and cheap ways to do it. I'm gonna tell you. And like, there is a Uniden brand radio. It's a radio. It's really, made to put in your car. So it's like a mobile type size.
Yeah.
But you can put this in the house if you wanted to use it as a base station at the house. You do the same. I do the same thing personally. Actually, this Striker that I'm talking on is the mobile radio that you would put in your car. You know what I mean? So I just got it set up in the house as a base station. I don't need
Yeah.
one. I've got one, but I don't need one of those big, big huge base station type radios. But I'm gonna tell you, and there's this unit in it. It's called a Bearcat 980. Uh, it actually is a pretty good quality radio when it comes down to audio quality, and it's got sideband on it. So yeah, I mean, it stays
So you got
stable
a
on
built-in
sideband.
speaker?
Yes, it's got a built-in speaker, or I think it's also got a jack, so you can plug in an external speaker if you wanted to,
Okay, cool.
if I remember correctly. Yeah, but it's a mobile radio, and it's 12 volts, to run it. That's all you need. You can run it off a power supply or something like that, and plug that in the house, or off of batteries or whatever. But that and that actually pushes out more wattage straight out of the radio than that little handheld does. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, you might be able to hear stuff with that handheld, but depending on how far it is or how good the conditions are, you might not be able to talk to them because it's not enough wattage coming out. You know,
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah. But it's a good thing to have. Like, for instance, like close by, if you had like people nearby, and they're having those same type of walkie talkies or the radios with them, you guys can communicate. Like if your neighbor or whatever, because that's about I mean, the distance wise, that'll do it. You know what I mean? Like your neighbor or whatever. Well, it depends on
Well,
how close.
I originally bought this one for my bug out bag
Yeah. Right on.
because I kind
Yeah.
of figured when shit does hit the fan, cell phones are not going to be a thing.
Nope. Nope. No, they're
CBs
not.
are.
Yeah. I mean, especially it depends on, like, let's just say EMP is not what happened, but something else did. So yeah, more likely, yeah, there will be the cell towers won't be working, power will probably be out, generators will run out of gas eventually because they can't get gas around. Yeah, eventually, I
Yeah.
mean, something serious can do that. So yeah, other means of communications is going to be necessary just so we can coordinate and figure out what's going on and like all that kind of stuff. You
Yep.
know, so. Um, and that's the same thing, like, I mean, like during that down here in the hurricane and stuff like that, just trying to keep in contact with people, you know what I mean, and finding out what's up. Like, for instance, Hurricane Michael came through here, there was a lot of people that were on the radio, man, either ham operators or CB or whatever, but like relaying messages like, oh, this shelter is running on generator, and then we're running out of diesel. We need somebody to come in here and deliver
Yeah.
fuel, blah blah blah. Because the cell phones are down.
Yep.
Verizon was nothing around here. I had to go literally like almost 100 miles away just to get a cell signal. Um,
Damn.
yeah. Well, it's probably about that far just to get there and back. Just to get gas and cell signal, and because I was out of for 2 weeks, or close to 2 weeks without power. You know, so I know exactly what some of those people down there in South Florida are going through when it comes down to some of that stuff. Because I mean, and some people are going to make good out of it. You know what I mean? They're just going to take up all the insurance and replace every fucking thing, and it'll be better than what they had. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, shoot, a lot of them guys that are like had all them yachts and stuff that got blown into a big pile, they're just going to abandon them and wait for the insurance to replace it for them.
Yep.
I know, like, there was a lot of richer neighborhoods around here because like the day after, well, the couple of days right after it happened here, I went wandering around picking up stuff off the side of the street that people were throwing away that I thought were still good. And dude, man, you go to rich neighborhoods, hell, they were putting pretty much everything, including the kitchen sink, out there by the side of the road, just so they can cash on the insurance.
My gosh.
Oh, dude, there was so much good stuff just being thrown out. Because they had got a little water damage. You think about it, man. You fucking let this thing dry out, it's fucking just as good, just fine, works just fine. You know.
Man, that's sad.
Well, some people are going to cash in on it. Some people are going to be out of it. I mean, I know people. Let's see here. Like Hurricane Michael was like 4 years ago. And I know people that still have blue tarps on their roof because they just can't afford to put a new roof up, and they didn't get nothing from FEMA or any of that stuff. You know,
Damn.
so it's just a thing, man. But
Like I got a little bit of a hoarding problem when it comes to like that's what I used to do for the last 10 years was construction. And
right,
so every time I see good materials, man, I'll load them back up the truck and bring them home and start a pile.
yeah, yeah. Well, that was basic. I was scavenging for stuff like that too. There was a lot of stuff I was actually scavenging for that, like for instance, one of the things I was actually collecting every microwave I come across because I was taking the microwave and I was actually pulling the transformer, the capacitor, and some other things out of that, and then scrapping the rest of it. But I was
Yeah.
using the transformers and stuff like that, and then let's see here, I was doing a bunch of other stuff, man. Just materials and things that people just throwing away. It was is still good, you know.
It's
Hell,
like my chicken coop. It used to be a batting cage.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, I've seen. Matter of fact, those little square fans like in computers, the home computer type towers,
Yeah.
the little computer fans in them. Dude, I was collecting everything I can find when it comes down to that, just so I can pull the fans out of that. And I got a box full of those fans, man, just for different projects and stuff now. You know, um,
Oh
little
yeah.
things like I mean, things like that. I was like, things I don't have to spend money on down the line, you know, because it still works fine. It's just something I scavenged. Um, after one man's trash is another man's treasure, as they say, right?
Yeah. Like I got a 5 gallon bucket full of nothing but bolts in it, and I got another 5 gallon bucket with nothing but nuts in it.
Right.
Because you never know when you're gonna need them.
Well, yeah. I mean, matter of fact, I kind of got the same kind of thing going on, but I started buying all those little fishing tackle boxes, the flat ones. I
Yeah.
start I start buying a bunch of those things, man, and I'll get everything separated, like this size goes there and or whatever. I got a whole stack of those suckers now. I got to build this. I need to build a shelf so they all fit in there. It's just like because it would be kind of cool. They'd be like little drawers in it. You know, that's what I ought to do is build some kind of shelf stuff because
You just gotta wait till like a True Value or something like that goes out of business. Then you can go get them shelves from them.
something I don't know.
That'd be
Because
awesome.
I mean, the little things, the little nuts and bolts, for instance, or whatever else, it's kind of hard. It's either like have it in a jar or something like that, and it's just hard for me to like hold on to little things. So I was like, well, shit, I'll just get those tackle boxes and stuff like that and use that, and that's been working out so far. At least it kind of keeps me somewhat organized, also. You know,
Yeah.
um, but um,
Well, I got a couple dirt bikes, and if you've ever owned dirt bikes, if you go out there and beat up on them, ride them around and stuff like that, stuff gets loose, you lose bolts.
oh yeah, for sure, yeah. Well, I mean, I used to ride up dirt bikes when I was a kid. I hadn't been on a dirt bike in a lot of years, actually, but I had a KX 500 back in the day.
Oh man, fucking mule.
We used to go out and this is when I was living in North Carolina at the time, man. And we used to go out on some of these backwoods roads out there in the mountains and stuff and ride
Yeah.
them suckers. I knew a guy who was into that rock hopping type of stuff. He'd go from like one boulder balancing on his back tire, and then bounce and jump over to another boulder to another boulder. I was like, how in the fuck are you doing that? He never wore a helmet either, and but there was this one time. The one time he wore a helmet, he was out there doing that stuff with the rock hopping type of stuff. He ended up missing it, and his front tire went right into one rock, and his head went straight into a tree. Cracked the helmet,
Oh,
dead in the middle of it, man. You know. I was like, that was the one time he was wearing a helmet. He cracks that sucker right dead in the middle of it. Yeah.
Dude, that sucks.
He's crazy though. He was crazy. I remember there was this like big hill on the backside of this guy's property, and at the top of the hill there's like this tree, like right there on the side of the road or whatever, of this driveway type of thing. And it's a dirt road or whatever. Anyway, well he goes, hauling ass up this road, going up towards the top of that hill. And evidently, I don't know, but the power band must have kicked in right at the top of the hill, because all you saw was him going up, and then you lose sight of him for a second because of the tree, and then you see the bike go one way and him going in another, and like, oh shit, you know,
Oh boy.
he'd get right back up on that sucker and do it again.
Yep. Oh man, that's funny.
Hell yeah. I used to, because like back, we were doing BMX biking too, so I mean, we were doing that. Was when I was a kid. I was doing a lot of that stuff. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was before even three wheelers came into play or four wheelers came into play. That was all before all that. So, but
Dude, I used to have, this was like 2 years ago, a 1970, what was it? Yeah, 1976 Suzuki 350 two-stroke.
uh-huh.
Yeah, that right there, dude. A 350 two-stroke is fucking powerhouse.
Well, that's all you really need, man. I mean, seriously, on these dirt roads, in my opinion. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't need too much more than that, really. You don't, because I mean, me personally, I like trail riding, so I'm not really trying to go real fast. You know what I'm saying? I just want to have enough power to get where I'm going, you know? So that's what I like to do.
Oh yeah. See, that's what I grew up in Kansas doing. We used to just go ride the dirt roads everywhere.
Right.
And then you start getting crazy and you start fishtailing.
Yeah. Yeah. You get
Fishtail
a,
on a damn dirt bike, dude. That's some scary shit.
yeah. Yeah. I've got a couple of street bikes over the years too. I've got one sitting on the pole barn that just needs to be, it's kind of slowly rotting away, just sitting there. But it's an Kawasaki, was it Vulcan Classic, and needs needs some work done to it. It's just a matter of money, really.
Yeah, I got a couple bikes that they're just the Chinese ones, the little 110s.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
think they're Tao Tao, but they're both broke down right now. I have to get a new damn carburetor for both of them.
Well, those are fun anyway, man. Just to ride around property and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, these stupid things have the electric choke on them, and if out there doing, jumping them and stuff like that, that electric choke hits the frame, and
Mm.
so after it hits the frame a couple times, it breaks.
Probably figure out some way of rednecking that sucker.
Well, I'm gonna get just regular adjustable choke carburetors for them,
Yeah.
and that should give it enough clearance for the suspension to not get into it.
Man, talk about like fun things. Anyway, man, my cousin, he got one of them brand new. I mean, nice one of them nice side by side. This sucker, man, that thing is nice. I mean, just for just going nuts out there in the damn woods. I'm serious. The sucker is like the damn tires are almost as tall as me. Sits up, it's like got a huge amount of like ground clearance on it. So snorkel. I mean, this thing, you can have this thing almost completely underwater and it'll still be running.
Heck yeah! We used to have a 72 Volkswagen Super Beetle. We used to take that thing down on the creeks.
Right.
And it'll actually get through it.
Well, I mean, you remember the old Volkswagen thing? You remember those?
Yep.
Now, I knew a guy who actually did. He made the bottom pan watertight, and put a snorkel on it, and then also he had rigged up the transmission drivetrain or whatever, where he could switch the wheels off and switch it to like a propeller on the back end. Once
That's
he got
great.
he just rolled that sucker right into a boat launch to get into the water, and then switch gears basically, and go to the propeller in the back, and he'd just take off. I thought it was slick as hell. You know,
Heck
that's
yeah.
something that's never really like caught on, was like the Volkswagen thing. You know what I mean? It didn't. You know, I had like three. I had three Volkswagen Bugs and also a Westphalia van. So
Yeah.
I mean, I really got to know how to work on a Volkswagen engine pretty good.
Shit, you can take a whole Volkswagen engine out in like 15, 20 minutes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's basically four bolts, and it drops right out.
17 millimeter bolts.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it a couple of times actually. I mean,
Well, my stepdad, he used to actually like build Volkswagen three-wheelers.
well, I'm gonna tell you, man, they're just basically you can soup that sucker up and it'd be just like a Porsche engine, because that's all a Porsche engine is just a souped up Volkswagen engine. You know?
Here's the cool thing about it, though. Like the 70s Porsches with the 6-cylinders,
Yeah.
they'll bolt right up to those Volkswagen transaxles.
Well, I mean, that's all they are, basically, just souped up Volkswagen engines anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With the extra cylinder.
Yeah, that's it. It's just that's it. It's just I mean, the only difference is like, in some of them, like the old, like, was it 914s or whatever, were like a mid-engine type setup. I mean, there were some slight differences on some of that stuff, but even then, it's like, it's just like the engine itself was basically just a souped up. I've seen some Volkswagen and just regular bug engines, like a 1600, 1800 cc. Yeah, I mean, man, these guys have put a couple dual carburetors on that sucker, man. It's like, I mean, this sucker, man, is nice. And and if you didn't see the little wheelie bars on the back end of that sucker, and he came up to you and he wanted to race at a damn stoplight, you'd think he was messing with you. Because you see this little bug pull up to you. It's like, hey, man, you want to race? And it's like, you got to be kidding me. That sucker will leave him in the dust, man.
Yeah. Well, what they're doing now is they're putting them Subaru engines in there, them Boxer engines.
Yeah.
You familiar with the show Street Outlaws, right?
I know of it. I don't have means to watch it, but yeah, I know what it is. Yeah.
Well, there's one car in there called the Dung Beetle. It's Asian and farm trucks, one of their creations that they made, but that has a Subaru engine in it.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you want to see some really crazy, souped up type of stuff, look into was it India? In India, dude, pretty much anything that has four wheels on it, they soup that sucker up and race it. I mean, everything, like, farm equipment all the way up to semi trucks, everything, anything, boats.
Taiwan?
Yeah.
Not India, Taiwan. They do that, I think. Even
Oh,
boats.
yeah, okay. Yeah, but I mean, dude, it's crazy. Some of the stuff I was watching. I was watching some videos of these like these events of where they race these things off, like everything from boats, semis, tractors, everything. It's crazy. And they'll totally customize these things like outrageous,
Yeah.
Like some of these semis would have like 15 rear view mirrors on one side and 15 more on the other side. I'm like, what the hell? You know, it's crazy.
No, Cuba and Puerto Rico, man, talking about racing, they live for that shit.
Yeah. Well, it might be Taiwan now. I think about it. I don't know. I can't remember right offhand. But dude, because I was sitting there thinking about it. It's like, I was sitting watching these guys. They're like, that do all the farm equipments and stuff. All the farm like farming rice and whatever.
Yeah.
These they'll race those suckers, man, and it's so crazy. And I mean,
Just you
think
gotta
about it. These guys are getting on there with in shorts and short sleeves, no freaking shoes on, man,
Oh
just
hell
getting it,
no. Hell
yeah,
no.
just
Getting
tell
fucked
you,
up.
dude, they'd go crazy right here. They wouldn't even allow that. It's like, man, you gotta have steel toe shoes on at least, come on, you know. So I don't know, it's crazy, man.
Like
I think that. Go ahead.
there's some crazy racetracks here in the US, man. Yellow Belly, one of them. Yellow Belly Dragway. I forgot the name of the track, but they call it War in the Woods. This event, but it's not a certain track. But the track in the middle of the track, dude, they got grass patch. So if you break out and hit that grass patch, you're automatically wrecking.
Oh yeah, I like some of those mud. I've only been to a couple of them, like personally, but I like watching some of those mud races and stuff like that. And those
Hell yeah!
big ass trucks and shit. You know, that's pretty fun. Uh,
Oh, they're going through the pit and see how fast they can go through it.
yeah, I mean, I just think it's kind of fun to see how people just like customize their stuff to do. I just love the whole original type of stuff. Each vehicle is a little different, and,
Oh,
customized. And I like that. You know, totally modified. Yeah. Dude,
yeah,
I
I've
remember
been.
when I was living down in down in South Florida, down in the Everglades and stuff like that. Man, these guys would take those. You know what a scissor jack lift is, right? You know what that
Yeah,
is, right? Well, they would
yeah,
take something like that and jack it up to where they put big ass like tractor tires on it, big knobby tractor tires. All right, this thing's set up just because of those tires way up. Well, they drive that and take that out in the damn swamp, way the hell out in the swamp, where you couldn't go unless you had a boat. But they'd take that thing way out in the swamp and then jack it up and use that for a hunting stand. You
yeah.
know, it's crazy.
They come swamp buggies.
Yeah,
Yeah, they usually put like a Chevy 350 on there or something like that, but with four-wheel drive and
it's pretty cool. I saw that first.
yeah,
Um, there was one night, man. Me and a friend were sitting there and we were camping. And next thing you know, we see these two big ass trucks coming in with these things on the back of the trailer. And all I saw, we were sitting there watching them. And we're like, "What the hell's going on?" And they come pull, they get out. They just pull these things off the trailer, and they just ride off into the damn swamp, and they disappeared. I was like, "Damn, yeah,
when I lived down on the Brazos River, like a big thing around here is airboats.
yeah."
And man, some of these guys will sort of have like there. I swear this one guy had an outlaw burning engine on his boat because you can hear that thing screaming up the damn river,
Those things are
and you
loud
can.
anyway.
I mean, this thing had been running off of ethanol or something because it was just freaking screaming, dude.
Right?
It sounded pretty cool though.
I mean, those airboats are pretty loud as it is. I mean, you soup them up where they go even faster.
Yeah.
Shit, you almost want to put wings on that thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's only a certain amount of speed you can actually really go in those things before you actually start taking off. I'm pretty sure they got like a RPM uh, limiter on there. You know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I mean, if you got right conditions like wind or whatever in a flat, straight run, you can get up and go on one of them suckers, man. I'm gonna tell you. But
Yeah.
I don't know how fast they'll go. I really don't know right offhand.
See,
Um,
that's where fuel injected will come in really handy.
yeah,
I wouldn't trust carbureted because once that it sticks wide open, man, you're screwed.
right.
At least if it sticks wide open with fuel injected, you can just turn the injectors off.
That's what things like those when they, those was it cigar boats or the cigarette boats or whatever they race.
Yeah,
It's like if they hit it like a just a small bump in the damn road in a sense, and that nose tips up a little bit. Next thing, a wind catches it, flips them.
they're
Holy
down.
crap!
Flips that
Dude, I
boat.
mean, yeah. I mean, tell you, I've seen a lot of them where they did that, snapped the whole boat up in like 3, 4 pieces.
Oh yeah, that's another really cool thing to go see if you ever get the chance is drag boats,
Right?
and they throw some big rooster tails. But those things will flip easy too.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like those guys in Thailand. That's what I'm thinking. Is Thailand that I'm thinking, and not not India, but Thailand. But yeah, they were doing these, these the long boats they ride in, but they got the big souped up freaking car engines, on the back end of that sucker, and this long prop on the back end of it for the
yeah,
propeller. And man, they just get up and go on them suckers, man. I was just sitting there watching that, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I mean, literally like a freaking like a car engine, like mounted as an outboard motor, and they're sitting there just holding that sucker with a pipe on the end of it, you know, basically mounted a pipe on the end of an engine, and it's like that's how they're steering that sucker.
I
And
think they found the center of balance in those engines, and they mount it down on the boat like that, so it's easier then for them to steer it.
I don't know. I have yet. I mean, see, that's the thing, man. I have not. See, you don't have that kind of thing. Nobody does that kind of. I mean, I've only seen one. I think it was a guy. He used it for duck hunting, but that was the only boat I've ever seen anybody had a setup similar here in the
Yeah,
U.S. You know what I mean? So I really don't know. I mean, all I've seen is like watching videos from Thailand and watching how they're doing that stuff, man. It's crazy. I was even watching this one where it was like this. It's a car shop, and they could pretty much replicate any car. It didn't matter where they can make. They can make a car look like any other car, or whatever, or they can, totally fake it. It would look like it. It definitely was not it, but it could look like it. And it was pretty cool, man. Like I said, I mean, a lot of these guys are sitting in there, banging on parts and stuff barefoot on the floor, you know.
no,
And
yeah.
I'm like, and the stuff looks good. The finished product is like you would not tell unless you really looked at it. You're like, holy shit, this ain't real. This, yeah.
Crazy. I think over in India they do a lot of guns.
Yeah, dude. I was sitting there. I've seen some of these places where they hand make them, and they're sitting there, just filing it out with a hand file in their hand, and they pretty much come out with like a dang 45 1911, and when they're done, I'm like, that's pretty damn skillful, in my opinion, you
Yeah,
know, using hand files and stuff to get this stuff just right, and it works. It's not gonna blow up in their hand.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought about getting one of those paperweights, and then doing the work, and so I can build my own rifle, and um, because I was figuring instead of spending a shitload of money on a rifle that's already built with all this cool stuff on it, and then me turning around and then just recustomizing it for myself, and then spending more money, I might as well just build it from the ground up in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real.
And then I'll have it exactly how I want it at the end. You know.
Yeah.
Then I know the weapon. I'll leave a whole hell of a lot more about it, and how it works and da 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 da.
Well, it just basically depends what you want. If you like want a single shot is the most easiest thing to make. I mean, you can
Yeah.
make a slam fire if you really wanted to.
Well, that's just like emergency scenario. Knowing how to do that, that's a good thing for me. But no, I'm talking about like a full on just regular rifle. Just getting like the 80% or whatever it is, and then
Yeah.
just I've got pretty much everything. All the tools I need to do the work, as far as I know. You know, I haven't done it. One is like I keep on thinking that all this stuff with the ATF is like trying to pull and all this stuff like on these triggers and blah blah blah, and going to different stuff and gathering personal information of people that bought this and that and blah blah blah. Next thing you know, they're coming to your fucking house because you bought too many fucking fuel filters. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's pretty fucking crazy. So I've been kind of putting
Well,
it off unless I can figure out another way of doing it. You know?
well, see, the ATF knows this. Every federal, anything that they know that we know how to do. We know how to
Well,
make
it's
the
it's
discipline.
been legal from the fucking beginning, and also lawful for us to build our own weapons.
Yep.
So there should be no fucking honestly, we need to actually start punishing these so-called agencies that are actually going against the actual constitution that they're supposed to be upholding. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because all these so-called gun control things are unlawful. It's against the constitution, you
Did
know?
you see the video of the ATF agent that got arrested?
For
Uh,
what?
well, uh, he didn't properly expose himself to the person that he was trying to do business with. Like, but he was there for a shotgun or something like that, and instead of being polite and everything like that, he demanded. And so this lady called the police, and the police, came up there at gunpoint because they seen the gun on his hip, and he wouldn't put and properly identify himself like a
Well, what
tyrant.
whatever happened to him though? What's
I
the
don't know.
follow up
I
on
just
that?
like, yeah, like that's somebody with a badge like that, dude, is definitely a tyrant that thinks they're above the law. Like, why did you guys pull a gun on me?
Well, yeah. I mean, they all think that. I mean, I'm part of the Blue Line Gang, man. Don't, I need special treatment. Whatever.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Officer safety, whatever, whatever. But anyway, but I'm curious, because I mean, honestly, man, I'm curious of what disciplinary or criminal,
I don't know.
actions happened. Because it drives me nuts that even when they get I've seen many times where cops have gotten pulled over by the other cops because they've been drinking or whatever, and they get so fucking you know kid glove type treatment to these guys. Once they
Yeah,
find out this guy's a cop, oh, next thing you know, they're like, oh, are you okay, and do you need anything, blah blah blah. Dude, if it was just anybody else, they'd be snatched out of the fucking car, blah blah blah, all that other shit. And it's like, it drives me insane, that that different type of treatment, you know um,
yeah.
rules for you, thee, not for me type of shit.
There's not telling what cops have done. I mean, dude, there's been cops in Fort Worth. There's actually been on the news there in Fort Worth that they were part of a human trafficking deal.
Mm. Well, I mean, that's another thing too. I'd like to know where they end up. You know.
Well, one of them ended up dead. That's how they found out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. See, this is stuff like that is makes me, because I saw a movie which it wasn't too long ago, but I saw, the Punisher movie.
Yeah.
You've seen that?
No.
You haven't seen any of the Punisher stuff, or do you know what I mean? Any of the like anything that's based on the comic book or whatever?
Yeah, I've seen
Anything?
the comic book a long time ago.
Well, anyway, I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, for situations like what you just said, I wish there was probably a million Punisher type guys going after dudes like that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You know, people that actually, hide behind the badge and then do shit like that, like human trafficking and whatever, whatever. You know, honestly, man, choose a side. You can't be playing both sides of the fence, in my opinion. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean, our justice system is really fucked up. But, like, you know, it really sucks that I'm going to say what I'm going to say, but we need to go back to the hanging. Like, we need to set the
well,
standard of, like, this stuff is not okay to
well,
do.
we have to abolish certain things, though. There's qualified immunity for all government employees needs to be gone.
Yep.
Because they hide behind that and they hide behind
Yep.
these like the fraternal order of police unions. You know what I mean? They got a legion of lawyers to back them up. That's all publicly funded. You
Yeah.
know, you know, um, we're forced to pay for them to enslave us. You know.
You know, we need to reinform a lot of these laws, too, because a lot of these laws are bullshit.
Yeah. Well, see, that's another
I mean,
thing too,
they're,
man. It's just
they're laws to
victimless.
take money out of your pocket.
Yeah, to create revenue for the state.
Yep.
I mean, because honestly, an actual crime leaves a victim. There's damage to life, liberty, or property, so it
Yep.
leaves a victim. If it doesn't leave a victim, it's not a crime. And there's so many things out there that it's like they consider it a crime, but it's victimless. Like going 2 miles over the fucking speed limit, or whatever. They consider them these things fucking crimes or whatever, and they charge them as criminal acts or whatever, or things like that. It's a victimless crime. There's so many, like having marijuana in your pocket or smoking a joint or something like that. Who's the victim? You know. All right.
We
So
all
there's
are.
no victim. So I got charged and now I'm fucking sitting in prison or whatever, whatever, whatever. For
You're the
more
victim
fucking have
because they incarcerated you.
the what now?
I said, you're the victim because they incarcerated you over something so stupid.
Right. Exactly. That's the problem though. But I mean, who's getting charged for me being the victim? Who's getting charged for that? Nobody. I'm the one that's actually getting the consequences, and I'm becoming the victim from the consequences.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing too, man, because like things like that, they consider it a criminal act, and there's no victim, and then it can't not be a crime if there's no victim.
Yep.
And you cannot create a crime out of nowhere. And that's another thing too. They try to um, convert our freedoms and our rights into crimes. Slowly but
Well, that's
surely.
where conspiracy to commit a crime comes in, right? When you try to make up a crime.
Wait a minute, say that one more time.
Like, I'm you got my brain kind of working here. So, like, what you just said just a little bit ago about um, committing a crime, I just totally forgot what I was thinking about.
Hold on. All right. I got to fucking roll a blunt for that one, man. That deserves a fucking blunt right there. I got to fucking get back. I got to get to that fucking level, dude. I sit here. I know you've been having breakfast and shit right here while we've been talking, and I haven't been catching up. I need
Yeah,
to catch
dude,
up.
that breakfast is hitting me, man.
Well, I need to catch up then. I've only had like 2 cups of coffee, and I've only rolled up one piece of breakfast so far. I think I have to catch up and do another one
Yeah,
And
dude. I've been taking bong rips.
I know I can hear it. I'm like, damn, man, you got to cough to get off. But yeah, because I'm a pothead from a long time ago. Um, I like that stuff, man.
No,
I
like,
don't.
okay, I remember now. I remember now. Okay, so you sit there saying, you can't just think up a crime, but isn't that conspiracy to a crime? If you're thinking of a
Well,
crime?
I think what, like, for instance, there's a lot of things, like, you watch, like, I don't know, you watch, like, these, like, this cop watchers and First Amendment auditors and stuff like that on YouTube, right?
Oh
You
yeah.
watch, okay. Well, there's a lot of things I think, that I think we have a remedy in law already, but trying to get a conviction of it is another thing. What is it? 18 USC 241 and 242. Now, 241 is conspiracy against conspiracy of deprivation of rights against the color in the color of law, and the other one is deprivation of rights under the color of law. um, Now these goes for anybody. Now these will, it doesn't matter what hat or what job you wear or whatever. These will apply. Now I think there's a lot of things in just everyday, interactions with a lot of these guys, for instance, do violate these things. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. Um, some of these, well, actually both of them, 241 and 242, the maximum penalty, if the elements are correct, the maximum penalty is death if they violate these things. So
Yeah.
honestly, man, if we the people can start getting convictions under these laws and hold these government officials, no matter what position they're in, accountable. And if the thing is, I mean, if it's serious enough, actually, following the law and putting them to death, that would actually send a message to other government officials. All right, straighten your ass up, you know, or this is what's going to happen, because we the people are the royals. They're the servants.
Yep.
And they're trying to, for decades and generations, trying to flip that script to where it makes everybody believe that the government is the royals and we're just fucking slaves.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not talking shit or nothing like that, but like a lot of these newer generations of kids and shit are just straight up pussies.
Well, I have to agree, but you got to understand this too. I understand this too, because the thing is, in school, for instance, they're not taught to be free people. They're taught to be good little workers, little communists. They're taught to be
Yeah.
communists. All right. They're not taught to be free people and how to be independent and, self-reliant, self-sufficient, self-responsible, self-governing. They're not teaching that in school. So they're being bred into this domesticated animal type of a mentality. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Like
that's the reason.
I have two stepkids, right?
Hmm.
One's 12 and one's 8. And getting them two to do things is like pulling teeth. I mean, I know it's pretty typical for kids, but I have to be like a slave driver to get them to do things.
All right, check this out. All right, now I don't have kids, but I've been learning things over the years, and quite honestly, this is something that I think works for even me. All right, like, for instance, if you were wanting to, like, teach your kids, like, values and morals and stuff like that at an early age and stuff, that's like kind of beyond their comprehension. But if you can tell a story of some kind, you tell a story of some kind that has these values and these morals embedded in that story, they tend to listen a lot more and they enjoy stories. All right.
Okay.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say when I say that. It's like, see, and that's another thing too. Kids learn at a different level. They want to be, you know, they're looking. Everything's new, so it's like an experience. So a story is like, wow, this is like a trip into, you know, some kind of fantasy land. But these morals and values are into that, and they learn this subconsciously, but they also remember this later in life. You know, it's like I remember my dad telling me about this story about a fox and a hound, and they did this and that and this and that, and it told this moral lesson or whatever. And I remember that from the back, you know, it
Yeah,
sticks with people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. It's just it's something that something maybe. I mean, you know, that also takes patience and thought, and I mean, also it's a form of wisdom that you're trying to pass on to your children at the same time, because that same technique will be passed on to their children when they want to teach them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I'm just.
Like I just remember like me being like 10, 11, years old and to be out there busting my ass. Like I used to be little, but I could pick up tail bays and throw them on a trailer.
Hmm. Right.
Man, I grew up in the middle of, South Kansas.
I mean,
There was nothing there.
so that is that what your did your family have that farm, or is that what you did for just did for a living type of thing?
That's just what I did for a living, like with the next door neighbor, me and my brother.
No, right on.
Like every summer and stuff like that will help with hay and harvest. Like
Well,
when I was
yeah.
14, that's when I got my farmer's permit.
Well, yeah. I mean, hell, I used to know kids when I was, you know, that would when I was younger, when I was a kid, you know, they'd go out there with their lawnmower and, you know, and hit up everybody. It's like, I'll mow your yard, this for that. It's like just
Yeah.
get enough money so they can buy a brand new pair of shoes or something. Yeah. Um,
What we used to do is we used to go out and buy cars and part
oh
them
yeah.
out. Dude, we used to make buku money, man. Like we'd go buy like Chevy square bodies, or if you can find Camaros or anything like that, like old muscle cars, we'll part them out. People buy the parts off of eBay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we sold a whole clip to a whole front of it was a '68 Camaro because the whole back half of the car that we bought was just smashed. We just did the front. We sold that for $2,000. No rust.
Yeah, yeah, I was kind of catching up. Huh? Yeah, I don't like those like blunt wraps or whatever. I like these. It's a tobacco leaf instead of like a paper or whatever.
Oh,
Uh,
backwoods.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like
And
that better.
they're gonna roll, but man, once you get it down, they're good.
Well, I got turned on to them many years ago, and back when they only had two flavors, you know, it was like dark brown and light brown color packages or whatever. And now I think they got 4 or 5 different types of flavors or whatever on it. It's actually pretty good. Um, as long as they don't dry out, they're fine. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I mean, they're not bad to smoke. Instead of roll with, they're just to smoke them too. They're not that bad. Oh, I actually like the smoke cigars. Once in a blue moon, I like to.
Yeah. Well, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I smoke these. They're called Jewel Sweet cigars. They got like a wood tip on them. Made by Havana Tampa. That's what I normally smoke. But honestly, man, I need to quit smoking tobacco altogether. I really kind of need to. It's one of them. mental things. Kind of like I got to switch that guy off in my head that keeps on telling me to go get some more cigarettes from the damn store and shit. And
Yeah.
um, the last time I quit for a while, what I did is I invented another guy in my head that had a gun that shot that dude that kept on telling me to go to the store and get some more. And, and he stopped talking for a while. So it's weird. It was kind of like a Fight Club, the Fight Club scenario where he was fighting with the guy in his head.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that in
Oh
a way.
man.
It's like you almost got to invent like a whole nother dude to beat him up in your head and tell him to shut up. You know, because I mean, seriously, it is a mental thing. This addiction of any kind,
Yeah.
really. It's like a whole mental thing, and because I mean, I know, and I have done it. The cold turkey is one of the best ways to do it when it comes down to quitting. You know what I mean? And um, some people, it, some people are not as strong as others, but some people, it's cold turkey is really hard. You know, um, depending on what kind of drug it is, because I mean, tobacco is a drug.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I like sugar. Sugar is a drug. Nicotine,
Caffeine.
caffeine. There's another drug. I mean, tell you, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. I don't drink as much coffee as I used to, but I used to drink. I mean, I did not know that coffee was like a morning thing. I did it every day and night, no matter what time of the day or night it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can literally drink a cup of coffee or a pot of coffee. I can literally drink a pot of coffee and be sitting here sipping on my coffee, and I can still nod off in my chair and fall asleep. You
Yeah.
know, so it's weird on me. But I don't drink as much as I used to. But that's another thing too. It's like to me, it's kind of like the hard drugs. These are the hard drugs that caffeine, nicotine, and sugar. They're hard for me to kick because I really like my sugar too. You know what I mean? Um, I don't drink enough just plain water.
See, that's
Um,
how I start my day every day. It was a damn cup of coffee, at least 2 to 3 cups of coffee to just get me going.
hey, what's up, John? Nice to hear you too, man. It's nice to see you here. Good, right on. Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
kind of hanging out, just talking, man. It's like there was stuff going on the radio, and still going on the radio, but whatever. That's the reason why I'm here. Honestly, I just got out of YouTube jail, so I'm just like, um,
Freedom.
yeah. I'm telling you, I'm one strike away from getting my channel taken down, though. That's the thing. Whatever. Yeah. So who knows? It won't be the first time I've had to start over, but still, I've had this one particular one for over 8 years, 9 years, something like that. And then the one before that, I had like that one for like 6 years or something. And I don't know,
Damn.
something
I've
like.
never been in YouTube jail.
Well, it's really weird. Since all this stuff started happening a couple years ago, and then the see, put it this way, I'll tell you this. From what I've had happen to me, and most of the videos are mostly of them are a year or more older that have been deleted. I've had 14 videos since February deleted by YouTube. I've had 2 strikes, and they have claimed on all the videos that it was either medical misinformation or it was misinformation about the 2020 election. And then after that last video just got taken down and I got my second strike, I did a rant video um, complaining and bitching about it, and YouTube age restricted that.
What the hell?
you know, so um, I'm having a good time, man. I don't know what I mean. I'm just waiting for the next fucking, the hat to drop. I think that's all they're looking for is just trying to find something to strike me on and get me another strike and shut everything down. That's what I think they're trying to do.
Well, this is what rumors I've been hearing. I'm a veteran and I got a lot of friends that are, you know, and rumors have it that Russia declared fucking war with NATO because of what NATO's doing in part with
Yeah,
Ukraine.
Ukraine just signed an agreement to become in an alliance with NATO, and that's the whole reason why Russia went into Ukraine in the first place, so they wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, and guess what? There's a lot of countries that will be involved because they're involved with NATO. U.S. is the biggest one, but just
Yep.
recently, Sweden just entered into NATO. So there's a lot of countries that are going to be involved. And then you think about what China, North Korea, just for instance, just recently when Camel Toe just went over to South Korea, North Korea popped off a couple missiles saying, "Hey, guess what we got?" you know. So I mean, honestly, man, I sit there and think about, all right, put yourself in Putin's shoes, man. All right, would you go into this whole thing um, thinking that you're going to lose?
No,
I mean, you would go into this whole thing thinking that, hey, I'm going to win this shit, right? I mean, because
I
honestly,
think
I don't see Putin as the one the type is just going to go in this thing and then him lose. And what would the world look like if he actually did lose? You know?
all thing I want to say about this. Okay, during World War II, if it wasn't for the Russians pushing the Germans the way they did and stuff, like the war wouldn't end like the way it did.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. It's just I don't see him just like, okay, if like for instance he gets in a situation, he's like, okay, well, I just think this is a losing battle. I don't see him being like you know a pleasant loser, for instance. And and I know damn well that on both sides, no matter what it is, has got assassins trying to assassinate the other.
Oh,
You
it's
know.
definitely going to be a nuclear. This is going to be a bad one.
Well, that's the other thing too. I mean, you think about it. Like for instance, now this is just me personally. All right. Now I'm not saying I know this is what's going through his head, but this is just me personally. So if he's thinking anything like me, all right, and he's got access to nukes and shit, you got to think about it. Like, okay, I find myself in a situation, it's a losing battle. I know I'm not going to make it. I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to take as many motherfuckers out with me at the same time. If I have that attitude, I don't have nukes. But guess what? Who knows? I don't really see the Russians. They're complicated in the head. They're a little different. They're you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but that's probably what's going through his head. Also, he's like, I'm not going to sit back and just lose. I got my whole country and everything, that I got to look after and look up. They're going to use every means necessary to do whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, you know. So yes, you think about it. Also, I can't remember what kind of missile it is, but there's a particular missile that Russia has. If one of them makes a hit into the UK, it would destroy that whole fucking island with one shot. So if they happen to launch off about 6 or 7 of these, and these things got intercepted along the way, and one of them made it through, it would take that whole island out.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
well, a Mark Shire says nukes are fake. I don't know. I've seen some evidence of that stuff out in New Mexico.
There's a lot of that evidence out there in New Mexico. God, they set off a lot of them out there, man.
Yeah, there
I think
is.
over,
Well,
I think
there's
over
some
a couple
strange
hundred.
stuff out there too. Go ahead, my bad.
I think they said over a couple hundred nukes up out there.
Yeah, I think so.
No wonder the hills have eyes. No, dude, I think it's going to get to the point where it's going to be nuclear invasion of actual U.S. soil. Like if we ever get in it with Russia.
Well, that's another thing too, man. Just assuming that um, what Russia's capable of doing. I mean, does anybody know for sure what their capabilities are? You know, when it comes down to their weapons and stuff, other than what they tell you. I mean, I mean,
I don't
I
know
know.
if you guys. I don't know if you guys remember this game, but like in my generation and my brother's generation, like when computer games started coming out, uh, there was that one that was Red Dawn or something. Yeah, I think it was Red Dawn, and it's about the Russians invading the U.S.
Right, like boots on the ground, paratroopers out of the sky type of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that would okay. Now, if put it this way, if I saw that, there would be something that would click in my head, and I would be ready for because I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be okay. I know what to do now. You know that kind
yeah.
of thing. All right, but I don't think it's going to be that cut and dry. I think it's going to be a little different how it's going to kick off. Um, I think a lot of people are going to be confused on who to trust and who to be aware of. You know what I mean? Because
Well,
there's
people
going to
are
be
like that right now.
yeah, I know,
People are totally like that right now.
I know. That's the problem, though, man. It's actually, and actually taking the time to, to look around. I guess take the blinders off and look around,
Yeah,
type of thing. You know,
that's why I love my next door neighbors because they're open, man. They're wide eyed. They know. They came over and actually, the first day, the first week we were here, they noticed us that we were over here, and so they came over and introduced themselves like a good neighbor. Like at my other place we lived at, nobody did that besides one guy. I mean, it's crazy how people are being so uh, what's that word I'm looking for? Can't think of the word right now. Inverted.
oh, oh yeah, 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 yeah. See, a lot of that, man, is really done on purpose by design. It really is. I mean, it's funny too because some of the videos that got deleted by YouTube was talking about certain things when it comes down to that stuff in the arm, and at the time it, it was not what the CDC and all that stuff were saying. Well,
Yeah.
now they've changed their tune, and I was right, but my videos are still deleted. You know what I'm saying? Um, the thing is like that information is still not getting out. You know what I mean? Because there's this censorship of a one way of thinking. You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
reason why a lot of people are actually regurgitating the same like talking points you see on CNN and shit. And then they can't go any deeper than that because well they didn't really look into it. That kind of thing. And it's like I find it so interesting. You go to some of these protests and rallies and stuff, and they like talking about like um, assault weapons ban or some shit like that, and then you ask them simple like elementary type questions, and they're just like. You can see a gasket blow in their head, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And they get violent or try to call you names or something. You know, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You're sitting there protesting something you don't know anything about. Why? Um, That's what I don't. I'm like, why? I don't understand that. I don't understand why.
That's
Right.
why I need my AR-15 to
Well,
protect myself from those kind of people.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, see, I'll tell you this, man, and this was years ago, probably 15 years ago, some more, probably more than that. But anyway, it was years ago. I was in Miami, and I met a woman, an older lady that was actually held in one of those concentration camps by the Nazis, and she had one of those number tattoos on her arm and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And we sat there and talked about stuff, and she was telling me just some stories and stuff. But she gave me one hit of advice, and this is to me, and this is basically to all Americans. But her one hint of advice was never give up your guns. Never give up your guns, because that's how they killed millions. How the Nazis killed millions is because they disarmed everybody first and then they wiped them out.
yep.
You know, so that was her hint of advice to me. Is like never give up your guns, and I was like, all right, I, I I'll try to stay true to that myself anyway. You know,
That's why, like, I'm dedicated right now to like $200 each of my checks. Goes to each 2 weeks goes to ammunition. Because with 200, I can get close to 2,000 rounds, and that's just for the 22s.
right?
I already got plenty of 9 millimeter. I already got plenty of 12 gauge. I got plenty of 20 gauge. I got plenty of 5.56 and 223. But the 223 is just backup though.
Yeah, right on.
I mean, you can get a better velocity off of a 5.56 than a 223.
Or just go to the old fashioned 30-06
Yeah,
sniper rifle right there, boy.
North America's greatest rifle.
You know, um, the only problem is, man, like, I mean, it depends on where I will go, but a lot of the normal places are like what used to be the normal places to get ammunition, but the only thing they've got on the shelves now is like 12 gauge shotgun shells. Is about it. And I'm like,
You
God
know,
damn, it
be
sucks.
the best rifle. I just thought about this. The best survival rifle where you can actually reload the cartridges on the run. All right, so you save your cartridges. Is the 4570 government.
Right, 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 right.
That's proven, dude. That's proven throughout history. They're in the 1800s and the early 1900s with that rifle.
Yep.
So is
And
the 45 rifle.
see, that's the thing. You want to stick with something that's reliable. Something that works good, that was built right and reliable. You know what I mean?
But
That's
here's the
another thing
sad
too.
about it.
I've got an old 45 1911, but when it comes down to it, I like a revolver because you can throw that thing in the mud, run it over with a car, and it's still fire.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't have that many.
simple
It
and
doesn't.
reliable.
Yeah.
You want a good survival gun? Something that's just a single shot with a hammer. You know, something that's already been built back in the 60s, 70s. You don't want none of those newer guns, man. Like I got a couple of newer guns, and yeah, the polymer's pretty cool, pretty light, but that stuff's gonna wear out. It's gonna break.
Yeah. See, that's the thing too. It's like that's the thing. Now, an AR versus an AK. Now, the thing I like about an AK is because they were built kind of sloppy. You can get mud in that sucker and it will still fire. But an AR, it's so built with such high tolerances and stuff, real tight tolerances. You get a grain of sand in there and it starts fucking things up. You
Yep.
know what I mean? That's the only thing I'm not that keen about. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
the
a good rifle. It's a
AK-47.
good rifle as long as you can keep it clean.
Yeah, the AK-47, dude. You can do all kinds of things to it, dude, and it'll still
Have
work.
you seen those new ones that the Russians were coming into Ukraine with? Is the AK-74? And, born
Yeah,
fully automatic and everything. These things are nice rifles.
yeah, the
Um,
AK-74 with the folding stock.
yep. These
Yep.
things are nice, man. There's a guy that I follow that's out in the Ukraine as like a training support or whatever, and they had captured some stuff, and he got one of these off of one of the Russian soldiers. This thing, man, it cycled like butter. It was beautiful, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
I was like, and it's Bourne's fully automatic too. So I was like, man, I want one of those bad, you know.
Heck yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, dude, is like all these gun statutes and all that other crap, infringing on our Second Amendment are all illegal and unlawful. And, you know,
I mean,
like red flag laws are unlawful,
that's what I
unconstitutional.
carry every day.
Yeah, right on. I got the only thing is I got my 1911. I can't really carry it all the time. It's just a little bit too big to carry all the time, or
Yeah, they are a
on me.
little big. Those
Yeah.
they make a 1911 compact. That's pretty cool.
Have you seen the ones that are chamber 22 round for 22? I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty nice. I like
Well,
that.
here's a cool little deal. Like a lot of people don't know this. If you buy, okay, so like companies make 1911 and then the Beretta N9. Like a lot of these are like, yeah, so like you can convert your 1911 into a 22. You convert your Beretta M9 into a 22 just
Hmm.
by a simple of a barrel and a slide, and
Right.
then a special magazine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a couple of different things that I'd like to get, honestly, for my 45. Honestly, man, I'd like to be able to interchange it where I could, use it for a 22 round versus the 45. I also, have you seen the carbine attachments that you can get for these suckers? You can just, it's
Yeah,
basically plug in your damn pistol into it, and it's a damn carbine rifle. I
yeah,
like that, you know what I mean? Because then I can get a little bit more range and accuracy with that 45 fucking slug coming down range. You know what I mean? Because I like the 45 round. That's a lot of knockdown power, and I like that. I mean, that's another thing too. I like about like the was it 7.62 by 39. It's a small round, but I mean, man, that sucker puts a lot of punch behind that sucker, and
yeah.
uh, I like that because just like I give you an example, just blowing holes through cinder blocks. I like something that's going to poke holes into that cinder blocks. You know what I mean? I want something that's going to actually punch a freaking hole in that thing. And I don't know.
Well, I got a 9, and I use those Hornady critical defense
Yeah.
rounds, and they're 147 grain, and those things will do. They'll fly right through a car.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you got to understand that's like sheet metal. You know what I mean? There's really not much to it. You know what I mean? That's like going through drywall in a house. It's not much to it. You know?
Well, it's okay. So like it's impressive though. Like if a you just gotta try this sometime. If you have a junk car to
Right.
shoot at it with a regular just full metal jacket.
Right.
All right, it's probably gonna hit the door and probably go through the first door, but it's not gonna go through the actual like other door. So like with like a shotgun slug or something like that, a shotgun slug would do it.
Dude, some fish. I'm telling you, man. If you were down the road, whatever, we'd come over. You can come over to the house, and we'll sit here and shoot some guns off, man. We can do this experiment. I would love to see this shit go. We'll get an
Yeah.
old car or something like that. I think I got a junkyard right go down the road. No, we can pull one over here. Let's sit here and shoot the hell out of it, man. I mean, honestly,
And
I'd like this because,
just keep
I mean, I've actually seen a some people do videos, things like that, and because and honestly, I've shot through things because I was making some of these like I was taking scrap metal and stuff from one of the jobs I was working at, and I was trying to make those like those swinging type targets. It's like you hit it, it swings the one way, you hit it again, it swings back type of thing.
Yeah, I
Uh,
got one of those.
yeah, so I was trying to make some of those, but even then, it's like it's like some of the steel I was using, I was like punching holes through that instead of just it was just dinging off. So I need a harder, more hardened steel to do that with. But but yeah, I was like, man, I was surprised I was punching holes through some of this shit. You know, and that's like these were like quarter inch or a little, well, no, I'd say probably more like an eighth inch thick, steel plates.
Yeah. I got a TV back here we've been shooting at. Flat screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my targets right there.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. For like 22 and stuff or BBs or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
I have a 22 caliber air rifle. I shoot with that.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing too. I was sitting there. I was talking to some guys over there in the UK, and it's like, man, that's about all they got left over there is like air rifles and slingshots.
Yeah.
You know, there was some guy that actually took a crossbow and went across the yard over there or by the castle or whatever, and now they're thinking about just like banning crossbows.
We had a couple get through.
Yeah, right on.
Got this TV.
What are you shooting mostly with 9mm and 22?
Just 22.
Oh yeah.
This sound like a firecracker going off. Kind of want to shoot that thing right now. Did it go through? Oh yeah, it did. That was the federal punches too.
Yeah.
All right. Enough of that. My little hammock.
Now it looks like a lot of rock in that yard, man. I bet it's a pain in the ass to like dig anything. What's up, old head?
Dude, you only can dig like that much before you hit bedrock.
Right. That's what I was sitting there. I was looking at that. I was like, golly, that would suck. How do you dig a? I mean, how hard is it to dig a damn well or something like that? Or can you?
I mean, they did this back here. They dug all that out.
Yeah.
And that's our that's not our well, that's our septic.
Yeah.
They couldn't get that far down.
Old
Now I gotta
head,
go.
old head, old head. I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there day by day, minute by minute.
Oh hell yeah. Guys, get back. All right, I gotta mooch you.
Old head, when it comes down to, I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. Just like I know DeSantis, man, he was getting a lot of stuff mobilized before this thing even formed out there in the ocean, man. So there was a lot of shit that he already had up in play on that end of it. And then I mean, and then it comes down to like, uh, uh this. I think they're trying to politicize this whole damn storm too. They're like, oh, DeSantis is not doing enough on this damn, helping with people with the hurricane, blah blah blah. It's all crap.
Yeah.
He pretty much had a lot of shit um, hooked up before it even became a damn storm. You know what I mean? But hell, we can only do as much as we can. When it comes down to it. When it gets down to like a category 4 or category 5 hurricane, man, it just you gotta just hold on to your ass, man, basically, and see what hopefully you don't get carried away like the damn Wizard of Oz or something.
There's no place like home.
Seriously, man. I mean, you can float away and shit, man. If they ain't got that, if it gets that, I mean, category 5 is what Hurricane Michael that hit Panama City. I mean, right here, that's what that is. So I think it was a 4 down there, just when it hit. And my sister's like down there, right in the middle of all that shit. I think she just got power. Like, what was it? Yesterday, she got power back yesterday or something like that. And but yeah, it's just some areas is going to get hit pretty bad. I know, and I feel for them because I mean, hell, since Hurricane Michael, that's 4 years now, man. There's still some people who got blue tarps on their damn roof from that storm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Ohead, you're right. When it comes down to damn gas and stuff, it's gone down a little bit from what it was, but even then, it's still higher than it was before all this shit started. All this. I mean, seriously, man, they're trying to.
I seen it 287 the other day.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, man. We'll put it this way: when all the gas and diesel went up, all right. Well, the gas came down. The diesel's still the same. It's up to like $5.40 or something like that a gallon. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, that's it. If it came down to like what if it came down to bug outing and bugging out or anything like that, people got to know where they're going to go and how they're going to get there. I mean, I've got a fuck it plan, but my fuck it plan involves a lot of territory to get to where that is, a lot of territory to cross to get to that spot, and and there's no telling. I mean, no matter where you go, unless it's like a complete private property type scenario, really enclosed. Other than that, like if people bug out, well, you may not be the only one there. You know what I mean? I mean, other people might have the same idea you got.
Yep.
Because I mean, honestly, man, there's quite a few things that I've thought of, and I know I'm not the only one that's thought of it. You know what I mean? So, um, you never know. I mean, just put yourself in like some kind of like I don't know, Walking Dead type of scenario. And what would you do if you were out there and you had to hoof it going somewhere? And
Dude, that Walking Dead, dude, like if you put yourself in that scenario and watch The Walking Dead, dude, it like really fucks with you. I'm telling you, it really does because like what would you do, in those situations? Would
well,
you
I'll
take
tell you
out that
this.
person for your own
Well,
survival?
well, put it this way, Fish. I'm gonna tell you, man. Like that first one or two people I had to take out would really fuck with me.
Yeah.
But after that, it'd be like another day at the office type of scenario in my head. Who knows?
What was that? What was that one guy that had the baseball bat?
Negan.
Negan, yeah. You'd be like him. Like, fuck it.
I don't know. So that's the thing too, man. It's like I mean, will you still hold on to your humanity? and that type of
Well,
shit.
Negan came back to his humanity, if I remember. I watched The Walking Dead too. That was like one of my favorite shows. I just haven't seen it in a while because they quit making it.
Well, I haven't been able to watch it in a while because like I would get like when it came out on DVD, like the whole season come out on DVD, I'd probably buy it then or something like that, and then I'd watch it, and then so I'm way behind on a lot of it. I think the last season I saw was like season 10 or something.
When they're still at the prison?
No, it was after that. It was season 10 is oh crap, I can't remember what it is right offhand. Um, anyway, but then there's also that spin-off. Have you seen that one where what's his name? That one guy that one black guy that carried the stick with him.
Yeah.
They did a spin-off show with just him going off by himself and meeting new people. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm getting kind of toasty out.
Hey, no, old head. I didn't know. I kind of figured you were a vet, but I didn't know right offhand, man. I kind of wonder what's going to happen, man. I hope our military men out there actually, you know, will do the right thing and not follow unlawful and unconstitutional and unjust, unmoral orders.
Yeah.
I really hope that they will do the right thing. Because honestly, man, it really it comes down to it. And I know there's a lot of people out there that's going to follow orders and do what they're told. I mean, I see it in cops all the time. I
Yep.
mean, if they're told, like for instance, I've actually told family members of mine that are in the military, and I told them, I was like, listen, if your commander or your boss told you to come here to my property and do like a weapons confiscation and a mandatory relocation, would you do it? And I've asked these family members of mine, and some of them would say no, but then there was others that would say, well, yeah, I mean, if that's what I'm told to do, that's what I'm going to do. And I told
No,
them
hell
right off the
no.
bat. And I told them right then and there. I don't care if you're blood related. I don't care if we have the same blood in our veins.
I will
You
shoot
will be
you.
the first one shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm for real because you are a traitor, and that's
Yeah.
where it reminds me of that brother against brother from back in the day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's what it reminds me of. And you got some of these people that want to stay in the matrix. They want to be there, and they ain't had it so good, and they're willing to do whatever they're told to do to stay in it.
I know for the price of jet fuel, the U.S. government is flying a lot. They fly over us probably twice a day.
What you got? What you got?
Tandem.
You got an Air Force base nearby or something? Or
Yeah, I got a JBL there in Fort Worth.
okay. Yeah, I've got Eglin and Tyndall Air Force Base nearby, so
Yeah.
they do a lot of stuff out there. They even get out there along the beach and stuff, do that, sonic booms
My
because they're going.
brother was stationed there. Then he was stationed there at Cape Canaveral.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I grew
Yeah.
up in Orlando, so I was like, right down the road from Cape Canaveral. So,
Yeah.
I remember when we were kids and stuff, man. We can sit there in the front yard of our house and watch the space shuttle go up. We were that close
That's
to
awesome,
everything.
dude. That is real. I would love to see that. I've seen the SpaceX launches.
Oh yeah. Now I'm still curious. I would like to actually see live one of those things landing back straight up. Coming back down and landing like they say that this thing's doing. I'd like to see one of that
You never
stuff
seen
live.
that, dude? I did.
I've
seen one
seen
where it
video.
went.
I've seen video, but I have not seen one live. You know.
Okay, so next time one goes live and stuff, I'll put it on my community tab,
Yeah.
and you can watch it because they watch the launch and the descent. So you watch it come back. Like they usually like have a like wherever the projector where it's gonna be at. So they have a pad out there,
Right.
and that thing will come land right on that pad.
Well, I've seen this video of like one of them that was landing on a pad that was like on a floating fucking dock out in the water and shit. I thought that was pretty neat, but I was like, God dang. Well, I've seen some of them that failed, but there's some of them that actually, well, like I said, I'd like to see it live with my own eyes because I don't know. It's kind of like, okay, did you hear about this recent thing that NASA is bragging about that they supposedly rammed this satellite into this asteroid to see if they can move it on a different course? I mean, have you seen this thing that they were trying to brag about recently?
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Well, it's like multi-million-dollar freaking satellite. They purposely rammed into a fucking rock out in space. All right. They supposedly got this fucking video footage of them doing it, and I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, dude, I've seen better CGI shit, man. Come on, man. I'm just like, I mean, I just find it, that they're trying to, they expect all of us to swallow this like it's fucking, this is for sure real. I mean, I don't know, man. It just reminds me of some of the stuff that they were shooting back in the 60s and stuff. And it was the same type of style, on how they're trying to project this today. I
Yeah.
was like, holy crap, man. Come on now. I mean, no, that's another thing too. It's like today in video, everything can be manipulated or faked, with some
Yeah.
kind of something. They got this program called deep fake and stuff like that. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff on it. I mean, that's why,
You want to
like,
hear something crazy that you can't fake?
what's that?
Nature. Nature has a lot of evidence with it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, if my vehicle was here, we would go on a field trip right now because, like, I really want to show you guys this. This will blow your mind. Like, I know this top of this hill there in Glen Rose. It's like a good, like, 20-minute drive from here, Glen Rose, Texas. And only, like, the natives and stuff like that know about this place over there. But it's up on top of a hill. It's like a crest of a hill. So, like, back in thousands and thousands of years ago, this used to be all like shallow sea. But there's evidence of like dinosaurs, there's evidence of humans moving through here. You can see like in the actual in the rock the footprints.
Well, see, that's another thing too, man. I mean, you start looking at just archaeological evidence that has been dug up, and the amount of sophisticated, like, need some type of sophisticated type tools and technology to actually do some of this construction. We can't even duplicate this stuff today. You know what I mean? With the type of stuff that we've got today, and which is just interesting, um, and where all that technology or capability went. It's like it all disappeared when the flood happened, evidently.
Yeah.
So.
No, there was evidence, dude. Like dude, there's tons of evidence backing giants.
Well, that's the thing. It's like,
Dude,
that's the thing too. That's another thing too. The what is it about the epic travels of Gilgamesh. Have you heard of that? That
yeah,
Gilgamesh. All right. Well, when there's a bunch of our U.S. guys over in Iraq, they supposedly found Gilgamesh's body where it was buried. And if the story is true, let's just say for shits and giggles, the story is true, and Gilgamesh, the body of Gilgamesh, is half god, half human body, is still there. It was barely decomposed, if any at all. It looked like it was just buried, type of thing. All right. What do you think modern DNA geneticists and all that shit would like to would do with that DNA
Yeah, test it.
if it was true, for instance?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like with the Holy Grail. Like they claim that they found the Holy Grail and then the blood of Christ.
all right.
And they actually like there's a big old like document on it.
It's interesting because I mean, that's another thing too. Like it seems like only certain things are revealed to the public when it comes down to some of these archaeological digs. What is actually found? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? A lot of that stuff ends up in a damn box back in the back where fucking Indiana Jones can't find it. That kind of
Well,
thing.
I seen this artifact the other day that really puzzled me, and it was probably about a foot by a foot arrowhead. Do you know the channel Show Me Sasquatch?
Yes.
All right, he has it. Ask him next time you see him. Ask him to show you the big arrowhead.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah, he has that, man. That is crazy. He even has like a if he's out there on his adventures, he ask him to show you the alien head.
Alien head, huh? I mean, that's another
Yeah,
thing too. It's like you got some of these skulls that are found around the world, like in Peru and stuff like that, that have these elongated heads, like kind of like a cone head almost, and now some of those are actually done on purpose by, binding the head at birth, but but these are like, these are natural forming, skulls like this, and the 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 brain capacity is a little bit more than what we've got in our head right now. It's like there was more brain matter. So I mean,
yeah.
it makes me wonder what these people were actually able to do and achieve, or if they're actually people. I mean, there's all kinds of there. I can't prove anything, but there's all kinds of stuff out there when it comes down to different, um, you know, different. Let's say astronauts from another planet or solar system or galaxy or even a dimension. Been visiting and kind of for a long time actually, um, and and manipulating even what's going on today. I think honestly, I think there's like if you think about it, like all those beings that were here before the flood, not all of them died. Some of them survived the flood, and some of them are still around. You know, and I think those are the ones that are actually hiding in the shadows that are pulling a lot of strings.
Yeah.
Because they have the knowledge from before the flood.
Well, this new place we moved at, I put a bunch of security cameras up, all right? And so the other day, I put memory cards in it so I can record now. And I've been getting these weird recordings of a woman, you know, telling the dog, come on, dog, come on, dog. And there ain't nobody out here.
What is this? Mark, and he's like, aliens. Oh my God, come on, you guys. And then the next freaking comment, the skulls are of the Nephilim. I'm like, what the hell do you think the Nephilim are? They're freaking aliens. I don't care if you want to call them like, the fallen ones or half God, half. They're still basically aliens because they're half God, half human. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think they're aliens. There's half breed aliens. That's what the Nephilim are. Because I mean, I think what was it? The fallen ones, the are the ones that gave birth to the Nephilim. Because they made love with the human women. And but yeah, I mean, and anything that's not actually terrestrial is extraterrestrial. So if it's not from this planet, it's actually an alien. It's
Yeah.
extraterrestrial. So technically, yes, they're half breed extraterrestrials because their parent, one of their parents, is an extraterrestrial. Because that's what makes me wonder. It's like, okay, for instance, let's just say, for shits and giggles, that Gilgamesh, which is one of the Nephilim, actually existed, and that body that the soldiers found in Iraq really was, because it fits the whole story of where he's supposed to be buried. It fits. All right, so it's very likely it is that body, but was it really half god, half human? And
Well,
if it was, can you imagine what you can do with that DNA?
yeah. Well, it goes all the way back to the Egyptians.
Right. Well, further
When
back,
they had about
actually, I
half
think.
God, half human,
Yeah.
that was their thing.
I think Mark just wants to argue. That's funny. It's okay. I mean, we can get down in specifics.
I mean, there's no means to argue about it. We're just talking about it. Everybody has the right to their own opinions. Doesn't mean you have to argue those opinions. That's childish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there I can't explain, and I mean, and the only reason is because I've like, okay, space. I can't tell you what space is because I've never been there. I don't
That's
know.
right.
I don't know what, all I can tell you is what other people tell me what it is. So, and that's probably like Mark over there. That's about the only thing you could tell me. I mean, have you ever been to space? Have you ever been in a spaceship in
Nope.
space? I mean, so unless you've been there, you wouldn't really know what space is and what it's all about. I mean, all you're doing is regurgitating what other people told you it is. I mean, um, uh,
It's like
um,
it's like when you look up in the sky in the middle of the night and you're interpreting what you see because that's all you basically are. Like you're interpreting what you've already seen.
well, see, that's another thing too. I got a pretty good lens where I can
That's
zoom
how
in
we
on the
learn.
moon, pretty good. All right. Now, I've seen some things up there that I cannot rationally say what it is. I can tell you what I can tell you what it isn't. It's not a
Yeah,
fucking satellite. It's not a goddamn airplane. It's not a helicopter. This is on the moon surface. I'm like, okay, I can tell you what it's not, but
yeah.
I couldn't tell you what it was because it was very odd and it shouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So I don't know what's going on. You know,
There's a lot of odd
it,
things out there.
it, it, if if it's true that they actually landed or knocked a satellite into the moon and it rang like a bell for like an hour. If that's true, and all the major scientists out there believe that the moon is actually hollow, if that's true, oh man, there's so many things that kick into place because there's actually stories from ancient cultures that talk about a time before the moon was actually there, because it was
Huh.
actually put there later. It was actually put there. It wasn't always there. And so, it's interesting too. I mean,
That's weird.
e-
Like, then how's the moon tied to the tides?
well, because of its, that's another thing. I'm not sure exactly how to explain that because I don't have the answer to that. Because it's to be natural and random. It's just like the odds are astronomical. It had to be placed. All right, even NASA today are actually planning on what they're calling it is lassoing a rock out of the asteroid belt and dragging it back for back to the planet for like analysis and resource gathering and shit like that. So if they're planning on doing it, I mean, you think about it. It's just dependent on how big of a tow truck you got. You can pull something about the size of a fucking moon over, right? You know, and just pull it over and place it right there. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of cable.
Well, I mean, you think about it. All right, let's say, all right. I'll put it this way too. A lot of things that were in science fiction ended up being science fact. What if somewhere in the time in the future we're able to actually do something like a tractor beam or some shit like that? It would be a lot easier to pull something, tow something along. You know what I mean?
Move whole
Um,
buildings.
yeah, I mean, you think about it, the possibilities of somebody coming up with that technology. I mean, be it some guy working in a damn bunker somewhere for the military or somebody in his garage. You never
Yeah, but
know.
like I like technology, but then I hate technology because there's a lot of unuseful technology out there that's making us humans lazier and lazier.
Well, I think that part of it, I think, is done on purpose because honestly, man, if we were more productive and flourished and growed, I mean, we wouldn't be dependent on the wealthy and the government. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and see that's why
I,
I'm trying to get away from is being dependent on the government. Like I can receive benefits right now, but I'm not going to because I know better. Like I know better that I can actually, provide for my own, and I'm actually doing it without any government assistance.
all right, sunfish. Okay, look at this comment. I mean, see, to me, that's actually, unless this guy, I mean, if he really and wholeheartedly believes this to be true and all that stuff, I think it's kind of funny. But I take this as fishing. You put a comment, put it on the end of a hook, throw it out there, see if anybody bites. But this comment right here, I'm like, I mean, it's just funny, and in my mind, see, the only thing is gravity. I can observe it in action, so it's objective. It's not subjective. All
One
right,
thing I really gotta say to
that's
that,
a that's a natural law. Basically. So,
one thing I gotta say to that comment, I'll be laughing when it kicks your ass.
well, I mean, you can.
Gravity
I
does
mean,
kick your ass if you
yeah.
you don't have your balance right.
I mean, you fall off a 10-story building. Yeah, gravity's going to kick your ass because that sudden stop is going to hurt. You know. I mean, unless you can fly. I mean, I knew a guy one time, he got fucking dosed on acid, man. He thought he could fucking walk on water. He walked out there in the middle of the lake and he fucking sank. And we had to pull him out because he was tripping really fucking hard and couldn't swim. But anyway, yeah, it's one of them things. See, that's a moral of a story. There's a story where I can tell a story and it has a moral and a value system embedded into it. You
Yeah.
know, you can't walk on water. uh, but
Unless you're made out of styrofoam, then
well, I mean, and then there's another thing too. When it comes down to like this flat Earth stuff, me personally, because I deal with radio stuff and radio waves and stuff. Me personally, my observation of the way radio waves travel around the planet proves to me it's a circular type object, not a flat object. And
hashtag
it's hashtag what?
skip land.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, not only that is I've actually heard my own transmission. I'd be pointing west, or no, I was pointing east at the time, and that thing traveled all the way around, came back to me from the west side. You know what I
That's
mean?
fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've
How
actually
long did
had
it
that
take?
happen.
Was it spontaneously or was it took like a couple hours or
No, it was like it had a definite delay to it, but it was like I can't remember how many minutes. I got it written down somewhere on one of my books, but this was years ago. I was working. I was working some experimental shit on some ham frequencies and stuff, and I wanted to try some stuff out because there were some buddies of mine that were bouncing signals off of the moon and asteroids and stuff, and they were hearing their transmission bounce back to them, and I was like, well, shit, you know what I mean? I was going to try some
Yeah.
stuff, and I ended up trying it where I ended up bouncing all the way. Like what he would ended up doing is just traveled all the way around the planet and came back to me. Yeah. And if it was a
No,
flat
no.
object, if it was a flat object, it wouldn't have done that. It would have kept on going and kept on going and kept on going. It wouldn't have come back. And if it did come back, it would have bounced off to something to come back, and it would have came back to me. If I pointed east, and it would come back to me from the east. It wouldn't come back to me from the west. So it had to go around and come back to me. Anyway, my observation of where radio waves travel around the planet tells me it's more of a circular or egg shape, whatever. It's more of a round object.
Yeah.
Plus, every other thing in the fucking and things you see out in space is round anyway. I haven't seen any flat fucking planets out there or moons or anything. So I mean, and I don't understand the benefit of actually trying to convince people it's either flat or round. You know what I mean?
I know. I've traveled all around, man. It ain't flat.
Well, I mean, and if it is, why hasn't anybody fallen off the edge yet?
Well, that's what they think. The conspiracies think like the Bermuda Triangle is.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. Or like Antarctica. Antarctica is supposedly like just a big fucking wall, and you get past that, and it turns into something else.
No, I just think our aviation just took off too quick. We had the technology back in the '60s to make awesome airplanes. I think like the F-16 was like created like what in the early '70s.
Right. I remember when the damn stealth bomber came or was made public. It was in service and in use for 10 years before it became public. But I remember when became public. When that first let it out to the public. We got the stealth bomber. You know.
Yeah, those things are unique, man. Like they're unique aircraft. Like the gas tanks leak on them on purpose because of the fact of how fast they fly. That like if they don't have that gap in them or like some kind of a like system in it, like it will literally like blow the tanks up.
No shit.
Yeah, because they fly pretty damn fast, man. And then you can have a fleet of bombers coming, and they'll use air tankers to fill them up. I mean, they can get somewhere in about a day, 2 days, just like that.
Hmm.
Be assembled probably in a matter of an hour, 2 hours. Like I'm pretty sure they do drills all the time.
Right. See, that's another thing too, man. On the prepper scenario, just like how when it comes down to the other side, the other team, they're doing a lot of like training and exercises, and they've got a lot of support and all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
well, hell, if we can't even get along on fucking YouTube, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. I mean, seriously, I know you look around at some of these other channels and stuff, and sometimes they get into the stupidest fucking fights over stupid ass shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
And
dude. Like I used to be like like I used to have a lot of cool channels I used to hang out with, and still until they started getting into that stuff, I'm like, and people show their true colors. I'm like, dude, this ain't a competition. This is just YouTube.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. And I mean, and on top of that, airing your dirty laundry for everybody to fucking pick through forever. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy.
You're
And
just
it's not helpful because honestly, man, the other side is more ready than we are. You
yeah,
get what I'm trying to say? They're all trained, they're fully armed, they got backup support, and you know what I'm saying? And logistics, kind of worked out. We ain't got nothing. Hell, communication's a big fucking thing because we can't even communicate a lot of times. Uh,
because everybody wants to be a damn chief and not be an Indian.
well, I don't think. See, that's another thing too. Remember we were talking about how like especially the younger generation, they don't
Yeah,
know how to be a fucking chief. They think they might be a chief, but there's no. They have never been taught how to even become a chief. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You just can't take the title. I mean, you know what I mean? That comes with the fucking. You have to earn that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Uh, That's just how it is, man. It's like respect. I'm just not gonna give it to you because you demand it. You gotta earn that shit. You know. It's like acceptance. I'm not gonna give that shit to you just because you demand it. You're gonna have to earn that. You know.
hmm Like I got some people that like we have a good understanding between each other. Like we've been in situations together where it was life and death, and we came through it. And we're like, like I could call him up right now, like, dude, I'm in trouble, I need some help. He'll help me out. Like I still got that brotherly bond with some of them.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I was sitting there. What was that? Oh shit! What was that one movie that had? It wasn't Godzilla, but it was this other movie. Oh man, just recently had a big freaking monster or whatever that took over the city or whatever. Oh shit, I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, it made me think of that too. I was like, yeah, it'd be a totally different thing, you know. Um, Especially if these all the okay. I mean, there are literally like all these, you know, sightings of whatever this stuff is up in the sky, calling them UFO, whatever. If they decided to actually, do something or show themselves or whatever, I mean, can you imagine what that would do? You know what I mean?
I think they already have. I think they do it all the time.
Well, no, I mean, like for instance, like land on the damn White House lawn or some shit and kind of come out and say hi, come in peace, or some shit. Can you imagine?
I don't know, dude. Like I've been on the Brazos River a lot, and I'm seeing some things out there that like I try to look up, and I can't find nothing on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I seen this dome figure
check this out.
that had two like reflectors.
Go ahead.
We seen this dome figure that had two reflectors on the side of it, and like it was out there in the middle of the water. And like how things move through the water, it makes a ripple, it makes a noise, especially like a cow or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't neither of that. It was quiet when it moved.
Right. Right.
Not
Right.
even no ripples or nothing, dude. We watched it with the spotlight.
Huh. Well, see, that's another thing too, man. Uh, if it can go through space, it can go through the water. That's another thing too. And that's probably a damn good hiding spot too. You think about it, it'd be out of sight, out of mind. Down there in the depths of the water.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it, okay, so like right there, close to that location, like not even like a mile and a half, is a nuclear power plant, and that's a Squaw Creek Power Plant.
Well, I've definitely seen things that I could tell you what it was not, but I could not tell you what it was, because I was just like, it was just odd. And there has been, I'd say, a half a dozen different times where they were close enough where they should have made a sound and they didn't make a sound. You know what I mean? There
Yeah.
was there was one. I remember I was standing outside. It was at night. I mean, I was like kind of hanging out, like waiting on a ride to come get me, and sitting down by the road or whatever, down by the end of the driveway. And I remember just kind of just sitting there, and I saw at the corner of my eye a light. When I looked up, it looked like what I thought at the time. It was like a shooting star. That's what I thought. But it came down a real bright type ball with like a tail behind it. Came down, and then it went behind the tree line, and then I didn't hear anything. Like it landing, making a noise, going through trees, nothing. I didn't hear nothing. But like seconds later, like off in the distance, there was all these dogs that like lived in the area that just started barking and howling. I can hear them off in the distance, and it was just like right at that moment where, like, I would think that's when it impacted or it landed or whatever.
Yeah.
um but like I said, no sound whatsoever, and all of a sudden all those dogs just started going nuts. I was like, I didn't know what it was. And but no sound whatsoever, and it was bright. So um, it wasn't a falling star, or like a meteor, or you know um, that I know of anyway. And then
That's cool.
there's been a couple of things out there. It's like you look at stars or planets out there in the sky with your naked eye, and it's just like a pin light. Well, I've seen little things out there. I could tell you it was not a plane, it was not a helicopter, it wasn't a satellite or any of that shit. All right. But this sucker, and it did some really crazy moves that regular planes and stuff can't make. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. And that's another thing too. I was taking video of the moon's surface, and I was doing it with this other camera that I've got, and it's got a pretty damn good zoom on it. And I stick this on a tripod, I can get really close up and really still, and I've seen things moving up there. I don't know what the fuck that is. You know what I mean? And it looks like,
Oh,
and it's got to be pretty damn close to the surface, because I can almost see the shadow that it casts. When you see a plane go over there and it's cast a shadow, it's the same goddamn thing. And I'm like, this must be pretty damn close to the damn, you know, to the ground. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, and
huh.
big, whatever it is. Because I mean, you think about it. This is from Earth. I'm looking at this shadow, you know, in reality size, it's probably about the size of a fucking, like a football field or more. You know what I mean? And that's probably the actual size of whatever that shadow is casting. You know what I mean? But anyway, I don't know.
That is
I've seen
crazy.
some really weird things up there. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you what it was. I mean, and if it is, there's a lot of scientists around the world that all agree that they think the moon is hollow. So what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Um,
I don't know.
why would you have a hollow fucking rock sitting there? I started thinking about a lot of stuff too when when you start listening to some of these scientists and stuff, and you're like, okay, well, they believe this thing is hollow, and I'm trying to figure out why in the fuck is it hollow. And there's some cultures that remember back before this thing was there, so I'm sitting there thinking, well, okay, then it was placed here. All right, well, this thing was placed here, and it was hollowed out for what reason, and what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to trying to figure this shit out in my head. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Now, uh, and then you start thinking about all this stuff that these races that are from other planets or other solar system or dimensions or whatever are kind of hanging out. There's this one who was that's been mentioned in other cultures from the past. That they seem to come through these spiral type wormhole type things, doorways, and some of them were reptile type, beings. And well, you know who's to say they're not still around? You know what I mean? If they were there back when all these civilizations were around and they knew of them, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of those still unknowns to the Earth. There is still a lot of unknowns here.
Well, um, the thing is, I'm not sure what to really kind of concern myself with, me personally. Because honestly, if they are around, okay, well, that's not something I can really control or do anything about. You know what I mean? And then they're the one thing right now I'm really concerned about. It's actually more. It's actually more than nukes, and it's AI and robotics. That's more dangerous to me than nukes are. But nukes are a big deal too. So.
Yeah. Yep. Nukes are a big deal. Hydrogen bomb.
I don't know if the Earth is hollow there, Mark. Honestly, because it's got too much mass to it. It's if it is hollow, it's at the center, the very center. Uh, um, if the scientists are right about the moon, that thing has just got a shell, and the rest of it's hollow. I mean, just judging by the amount of mass behind it, the amount of magnetic, and when it comes down to gravity, it doesn't have enough mass to even create enough gravity, to create an atmosphere and blah 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 blah. But that's another thing too. There, some of the Voyager, I think satellites or whatever, is taking pictures of the other side, the opposite side of the moon. And if you just look at the difference too, it's just like a major, like, just geographical difference. The other side is like fucking packed with like pock marks, like it's been hit with like meteors and shit, like over and over and over and over again. And the side that we see all the time is just nowhere near that. It's got like these massive, big, blank, dark spots and stuff, and it's a massive difference compared to the other side. But I'm still trying to figure out what would cause that. And I started thinking about, like, a lot of that stuff could have been caused by immense heat. And then I started thinking about what would cause immense heat. Well, what if it was some kind of a war and this big fucking thing up there was actually like a spaceship? This is like totally fucking crazy nutcase type talk, but let's say that was a spaceship and there was some kind of a war. And there's evidence on the planet that people have dug up where these rocks look like they have fucking been melted. And I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, what would create that to happen is probably immense heat. And well, what would create immense heat? A war, some kind of weapon. What if they were fighting back and forth? Who knows? And maybe the moon actually used its power to manipulate the tides and stuff, was what created the flood, because it actually has the ability to do so, because the damn thing's hollow and it's got things living in it. But that's totally nutcase type of talk, though.
Oh, it is, dude. Right, thank you.
Yeah, science told me Pluto was a planet. No, science has told you Pluto is not a planet no more.
By girl.
You can thank, was it Mark deGrasse Tyson or some shit like that? You can thank him for, like, um, getting Pluto demoted to not a planet.
All right, I'm fixing to hop off of here.
No worries, man. I appreciate you coming up, dude.
I gotta put all this stuff up I just got. All right. Later, y'all.
All right, man. Later.
Bye.
Yeah. What's up, Joe Cool, man? What's happening? What's happening? You got bored? I decided to come back, do another live. I had to do some stuff. I had to go around, do some stuff, and mow the yard, and I'm back. And that reminds me, I need to get me some more to drink right now. I think I need me some more to drink. I think some of the skip's still rolling out there, but it's mostly like California and crap like that. I'm hearing the left coast over there, out there in California. Well, hell, man. Hey, Joe, if we named hundreds more planets, that's just more real estate, man. You'd be like, next thing you know, they'd be trying to sell that stuff off. Be like, hell yeah, you can spend 2 glorious weeks on this new condo built out on Pluto's planets. It's real estate, man. I mean, literally, I guess whoever plants a flag and can hold a fucking building on one of these freaking rocks out there is gonna. I mean, it would be actually kind of interesting. I thought about that too. If I got to the point where I can actually have like a spaceship where I can go to different planets and stuff, I would love to open up a greasy spoon diner out in the middle of space, and serve cheeseburgers and milkshakes and shit. I think that would be awesome. Sunfish. Sunfish. I was talking to him. Um, Hold on a second. Sunfish for Fish. That's the name of his channel, anyway. Um, it's funny too, Joe. When you took off, man. Cindy was still asleep, man. I had to. I just left her behind. Eventually, she'll wake up and figure it out. I left her in the back room. It's like, good night. It's pretty bad, man, when people fall asleep on me on my live stream. I'm not that boring. So, hey, Mark, I bet you believe that we're like probably living in some kind of a bubble or something like that, where you just can't. It's like kind of like the Truman Show. You just can't get past that wall in the sky. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Who's to say all of this is not just like some digital, uh, software program, and you're just living in a fantasy fiction, kind of like the movie The Matrix. Who's to say that's not happening? Oh, wait a minute. I was talking on the radio, Joe. I was talking to the guy in the Netherlands. That's who I was talking to um, on the radio that when you were up last time. And I mean, there's a lot of skip in there this morning when it comes down to that. Most of the skip is kind of transferred over to the west, over toward California and all that stuff right now.
Oh yeah, you sounded good.
Honestly, I'll tell you this, Joe. I've actually okay. I can't remember. I don't know where I have to look on a map. Like east. I can't remember exactly what country it is that's the furthest that I've talked, but I can't really get out of Europe. I mean, I can't really get into like into the Arabian stuff and all that stuff. I can't get into any of that stuff. Um, Conditions won't allow it really. Um, but and then Asian stuff. I've only made 2 contacts in Japan. To me, I think mileage wise, I think Japan is probably the furthest west that I've made a contact. But that was only for a split second. It was basically a hi and goodbye type of contact. But I made that twice with 2 different people in Japan. That was about 11 years ago. But other than that, I mean, I guess, you think about it, like anywhere out there in Europe, you got Ireland, Scotland, Germany, Netherlands, Italy, a lot of these places. That's pretty far away as it is, anyway. That's about as far. I mean, I've talked to South Africa. I've talked to all that stuff out that way, and then on top of that, when you start going west, I start getting into the South Pacific. You get down into like the other night, or what was it, last night or the other night or whatever. I was talking to one guy for a split second that's out there in Tasmania. And if you know where Tasmania is, that's on the very southern tip of Australia, down there on its Tasmanian island. You know what I mean? And that's a pretty good fucking, skip across over there. You know what I mean? And then, New Zealand, I've talked to New Zealand, and then Hawaii, Fiji. Um, it just depends on the conditions, really. But mileage wise, it totally depends on if the conditions are just right, and both ends. Like for instance, the conditions on his end and my end are right, and my radio is actually able to transmit out a little bit. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if my radio stuff right now is like at its full capacity, I do a little bit better when it comes down to transmit. Um, but that's just shit that's going on right now with my radio. But anyway, yeah, because there was a guy out here just recently. He's out there in freaking California, and he's running out, like, was it 5K, which is $5,000 wattage wise out of his station, and that's like, to me, overkill. But whatever. He wants to be heard. He wants to be the loud mouth. You know what I mean? Some people, when they key down, they want to have everybody have no choice but to hear them. you know Shortwave radio, no. Well, no, I'm on 11 meter CB radio, Red Dawn. That's what I'm on right now, anyway. I'm on channel 38 on the CB radio, lower sideband. That's what I'm on.
223 sounding good out here on the west side. Were you there? 300 New York. 73, my friend, sounding good. 213 Long Island, I hear you out there, but it's rough and tough. 537 New York. Yeah, I lost you there for a second with a little bit of short.
Gotta get some stuff done in the garage. All week long, so there's shit to do.
Oh, that's interesting. You want to slide down by 832 Wyoming here. Coming back for you.
Gotta get the finish trucks resituated for the new week. Nothing too strenuous.
Okie doke. Shit. 526. I got a copy on 526. I didn't get your QTH, so you want to come back with your QTH or 526?
Roger that. Truck driver to do it, why not?
Well, good evening, everybody out there on the frequency of the 1122 Wingnut Radio out here on the side, listening for all that DX out there. I am now currently doing a live stream at the moment, and there's somebody in the comment section that wants me to prove what gravity, if he wants me to prove gravity even exists. Can anybody out there give me any ideas on how I can prove that gravity exists?
God, I hate that guy. Yeah, you nonetheless. 73 years of just one night, 537, 537 Montana, right?
RTBIC to put in it. I changed that out.
Oh, that's it, man. Yeah, it's like a haven for freaks, nuts, and people jumping fences. Yeah, okay, somebody else came in with you out of Georgia, but I covered you up. But anyways, I heard you out there in New Jersey. In Georgia, you're bombing it.
Hey, attention, all you shoppers out there. Attention, shoppers. The 1122 Wingnut out here, fully operational and immensely activated right here in your ear hole. Please stand by for random calls. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle and the windows rolled up.
You ever under in this adverse weather? This is nuts. Here we go again. Yeah, there he goes. It's awful foggy out here. Yeah, it was.
Tell me what kind of music you want to listen to out there, and I'll play it.
Georgia and I were having the residual hurricane weather. Probably not. Not in California. I should get on the bed. Copy that. Well, you come and get down here to Montana. You know, just sit there and watching it rain.
I'm just sliding down the other side now.
All right, 813, you do the same. Are you up top, Rick? Oh, yeah, pulling into, now I was sitting over on the, my perch.
Chicago, Raven, 477, Santa Monica, California, waiting back.
Lloyd, any homeless people camping out up there? Jesus, I got a picture here.
Have a good one in Chicago, my friends, and good luck with the Cubs next year.
Yeah, copy. I took my dog over to the spawn behind the other day. This guy camped out at Cole. There's a little grass medium next to this dirt field. And the guy had his tent pits there, and no car, but he had all this stuff laying around. I hope they ran him off, but he probably camped up back in my backyard by my fence now. That's why I always walk down in South Billings, south of the park there. There's a lot of people always been out there. Well, winter's coming. Hopefully it'll chase them off. But you never know. Yeah, most of them will disappear.
Yeah, I got to tell you, there be some stragglers.
Well, if I find them frozen to death, maybe. Come spring somewhere. Yeah, it's amazing. Every time I go up to Target or one of those stores up in the those guys with
Bueno, cuatro, there was a sign, food, all this, God bless. And throughout there with the little kids and everything else, and I'm looking at them, and this happens everywhere. Dragging the kids out there and oh yeah, when I went to that Spectrum store yesterday, it's over by Walmart, and they tend to congregate there. There was hordes of them everywhere, but they didn't dare approach me. I'd give them something, all right. Yeah, I don't get it. You're young enough and healthy enough to work. Okay, Florida, rolling. 125, Florida. 73 rolling. 456. Logo, Pau Road, Puerto Rico, Florida, 73 rolling. Florida, rolling.
Back to work. Everybody, work.
Puerto Rico, Florida, preso de 125, Florida, Copy, Puerto Rico. Armando, preso.
Yeah, I know, old head. I know. I'm pretty sure that's one way to do it. So that's the thing. It's an objective natural law. You know what I mean? It's not subjective. That's the thing.
Beautiful evening in the might still survive, because I don't know where she lives, if she's on the East Coast or West Coast.
Canada. 23, Raven, have a good day.
Look at the other. Puerto Rico, te estoy copiando para la abrazo. So I looked that up. But I don't remember, that was a long time ago. But I looked that up, and it's a,
All right, Kenny. I'll be home in a couple minutes. You know where I'm at.
Nueva York, relato es de Royal, copiando Royal. For some reason I'm Royal, no Puerto Rico. Bueno, Royal. Nueva York, te copio Royal. The storm didn't hit. That doesn't mean he won't. I was up there on the other band that, boom, this thing goes off and he dropped way down to like an S1. And then he popped back up again, so a lot of QFB. Help me pack profesores pico a piedra allá en Nueva York. Bueno, yo estoy acá en Isabela. Mírense los bajitos. Cerca Marquita, un gran amigo. She thought it was Nueva York. What now? Royal, profesor Royal. Remember to remind you. Alrighty, 73. Boy, but by the way, that fog settling in real heavy now. I'll have to go out and take a peek, see if I can see it. It's pretty clear over here, but gray and dark. Yeah, up here I'm just coming back to the road. Careful. Roy, sector Chacamaquita. Roy, de Puerto Rico por acá. Oye, profe, 7351.
What do you mean flag? Flag for what? I'm not a ham operator. I'm I'm a pirate radio man.
It's Saturday. There's always tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate the comeback. 696 out here in the Shader State. I got here, and then I got CW filter, and then I also put it in the 2.3 filters. So radio as well. So anyway, George, hey, I think I was out there by the truck. I heard someone calling 781. But now we're going to go to the Hollywood Casino there in Aurora. Okay, 123 Roy. What's the rendezvous Roy? 783 Roy. 125 Roy. Roy. Fuck, was a great cut, man. That's good. You're the Buckeye face. Look here, what you expecting? You say you some kind of inspector. I want to know what you expecting. You expecting Mother Nature or what you doing? 653 Arizona, come out. You know it, Mr. Good Time Charlie, your friend. That's my friend in the bayou, Good Time Charlie, smoking in the northwest corner, RC Seattle. You say you the body inspector. You say you the body inspector. You inspected the female bodies. Well, I need to put an application in. Do you got any opening? 653 Arizona, and I want to know.
Hey, Red Dawn, you got a CB radio, man? You got any kind of communications if everything goes down, for instance? Red Dawn. Like I said, the skip has been running, and I'm actually, I encourage people to get out there when the conditions are good. Get out there and start talking. Not only that, man, especially if you got some old equipment, dust it off, man. Get some cobwebs off that sucker and dust that sucker off and start talking. But anyway, I appreciate all you guys coming in tonight. It's the 1122 Wingnut Radio. I got some shit to do, and I got to do it. So I will get back up with y'all later. Hey, old head, man, I appreciate you coming in. Mark, let's see here. Sunfish and Joe Cool, man. I appreciate all y'all coming in, man. I'll catch you guys on the flip. I'm out. 1122, the Wingnut Radio out here for Anarchy Television.